Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold, when your dreams all fail and the ones we hail are the worst of all and the blood runs still, I want to hide the truth, I want to shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. When the curtains call, it's the last of all. When the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl. So they dug your grave in the masquerade, and calling out at the mess you made. Don't wanna let you down, but I am hellbound. Though this is all for you, don't wanna hide the truth. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. They say it's what you make, I say it's up to fate. It's woven in my soul, I need to let you go. Your eyes, they shine so bright, I want to save that life. I can't escape this now, unless you show me how. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide. Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Here we go live now on what should be a really fun weekend here in the state. Auburn's got game day in town, and Alabama's got a big game with Texas A&M as they sit atop of the SEC standings. We'll talk Alabama and Auburn basketball as we move throughout the day. Some college football news out there. I'm going to take you back in segment 2. Todd Fuhrman's our first guest. Segment 2, I'm going to take you back to a time in college football, recent history.
The good old days.
I mean, I do wish we knew it was the good old days when we were going through them.
Thank you, Andy.
Isn't that the old saying?
That is from The Office. I don't know that Andy Bernard created that saying, but it is a good saying. I mean, when you think about it.
Have you ever realized when you're in a moment that is going to be special and you kind of know the expiration date on the moment? Because I've felt this a couple of times in life.
Oh, I mean, there's years. I mean, for instance, Taylor brought this up the other night when we were driving back from Auburn. She was like, it is weird that you had that feeling at the Rose Bowl to follow Nick Saban in the tunnel in that video all the way to the end. And I remember telling you and EG that I just felt like maybe that was the last time of walking off the field because Lance had talked about it all year.
Well, it was also your opportunity to smell him on the way to the locker room. Right?
Exactly.
I smell success. Look at Sky, how quick he's got that video up. That's pretty crazy.
But
Sky had no idea you were going to bring that video. Did you tell him Sky had that video?
I did not.
Scott's apparently a dry February, too, because his reaction time pretty incredible.
Pretty good.
I just walked with him longer than I ever had, and, right there with the state trooper. I've never pulled
Travis
anybody
Kelce
over.
in front of you.
Yeah. So it was, it was just one of those gut feelings. So, yeah, there are times I feel like, this feels like it's the last time I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Like I went to the Grand Canyon for our anniversary trip last May. When I was leaving, I think I told Maggie, I said, you get to be my age. That's probably the last time I'll see the Grand Canyon.
There was a night, and I brought this up on a Mystery Fifth Hour. There was a night down on the beach. I do it. My family does it differently than you guys do. We like to go to the pool during the day, early dinner, and then go to the beach about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And stay until you cannot see anymore.
LT and I just like to go straight to the beach midday.
Yeah, I don't like being at the beach during the day.
Pool on the way, you feel that burn and the sand coming off. Nobody likes it, but everybody's hanging out. And that's the way to do it.
The beach at sunset is just incredible. It's empty.
Oh, it is.
It's cooler. It's just phenomenal. And there was one particular night, I knew my daughter was going off to college, and we were there on the beach, and the sun was setting, and it was the last night. We were going home the next day. And I was like, I do not want this to end.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got pictures.
But you knew it was going to.
I got pictures of Harper, same situation. She was going off to college. And it's sort of the last sunset of her being a little girl.
And we had the playlist cranked up. She was running the aux, so she was getting to pick the songs. It was it was fun.
It's easier to recognize and enjoy that moment the older you get. But I even remember going back, and it was because I got an extra semester. I don't know if I ever told you guys the story, but a guy named Russell Bevan, who is an anchor up in Knoxville right now, and I forgot what affiliate, I think NBC. Great guy, but from Atlanta, and he knew Jerome Jurinovich. Do you remember
Jerome Jurinovich, Headline Sports.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so Jerome Jurinovich was a friend of his, and they wanted him.
It was him and my pastor's uncle, right?
Yeah.
Van Earl Wright.
Van Earl Wright.
So Van Earl Wright's nephew is the pastor at my church, George Wright, which we pieced together one day at lunch, which kind of blew us away.
But by the way, this was CNN headline news, right?
Yeah.
And
Fred Hickman.
And it was better than SportsCenter. Like that's where I would get my highlights at night.
Yeah, you would get the update on the sports like twice an hour.
Yeah. Jerome Jurinovich.
But Jerome knew Russell, and Darren Sutton had started to work for CNN, Don Sutton's son. Well, Darren Sutton had been the voice the year before of the Elkhart Dusters.
Wow.
And so they reached out to Russell about being that, and Russell, for whatever reason, didn't want to make the commitment that summer. But me knowing that if I had an internship, there was a good chance I could come back for one more semester. So I maneuvered it and positioned it as to my parents, hey, I can take this internship, which will really be good for my future, but I have to come back to college for one more class. So I dropped a class.
Heck of a sales job.
They agreed to it, and I came back knowing once I got back on campus that fall, I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to have an opportunity to really enjoy college. And I cannot tell you how much I did up that semester.
Yeah.
I lived in the fraternity house. I had one class Tuesdays, Thursdays, 12:30 to 1:45. That was it. That was the only obligation I had.
I've got an old faded photo of my friend group in high school. and it's graduation night. We're all in our cap and gown. Well, we're in our gown. We don't have our cap on. And we're standing outside Boyd Vaughn Gymnasium at Sachs High School, and it's all of us together. I mean, we hung together through high school. And I remember making that picture thinking, oh, man, we'll stay in touch. I'm going to see all these guys all the time. I never see them anymore. Like, there's a handful of them. There's one I haven't seen in a decade, and he and I were tight. He's just disappeared. I don't even know where he is.
Yeah, it's really sad when you don't realize. I think you've brought this up before, Dunaway, the last time you pick your kid up. And I've got these pictures of me chunking Jack in our pool. And last night we were going to dinner, and he asked me, he was like, what? No, I was taking him to school this morning. He was like, what year is this? What summer for the pool? I was like, believe it or not, it's 11. But I remember the first couple of summers, like literally like throwing him a mile.
You couldn't do it with a front end loader now.
I mean, him and I both.
Yeah, he's stronger than you are right now.
He can throw you in the pool.
He probably is. We were lifting the other day, and he's probably a little bit stronger. 216 today. I've lost 2 pounds, by the way, dry February.
Good job.
And he is 218 right now. So he actually weighs more than me. But I remember thinking those, one day I'm not going to be able to do this. And it just comes up on you, and you don't even realize it.
Because you brought that up, and I never think about, like, there was one day where both of my girls ran up to me and jumped in my arms. That'll be the last time they ever do that.
Yep.
There'll be a time where they're too cool to do it or too big to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they, still on wedding days and things like that.
Yeah, but not run in the run and jump like a little kid.
Where you can hold them and carry them.
Yeah.
That's the.
You just never know that's passing until it's passed, and that is sad.
So anyway, the golden day of college football.
Yeah,
right?
what we got here?
That's why I'm forging the way into. I'm the oldest one up here. I'll experience all these things before you guys, and I'll let you know. I'll send a message when I'm on the other side too.
Do you think about this though?
When I die, I'll somehow send a message back.
I think.
What should my message be, Rockstar?
Graceland's overrated.
Yeah.
Jim.
We got to get a break.
Boomer Center too small.
How should I let you guys? How should I let you guys know when I'm on the other side that everything's going to be okay?
The Boomer Suitor looks great. The Grand Canyon's deep enough. Graceland is a nice house.
What if I only got a quick minute? That God, hopefully God, or the other place is dragging me in there really quick. What if I only got a second? What message?
Make
should I
the
send?
lights flash when Forrester's not back there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll know it's you.
So we'll flash red.
So let's run through.
I shouldn't go David Neal and just say pineapple. And you guys know, Jim said pineapple. Did y'all hear that? Pineapple.
Did
Everything
David Neal
must be
ever
okay.
drop a pineapple?
No, pineapple was David. When David was on our shows, he would tell us that when he was doing severe weather for Fox 6, that he would that if the severe weather was near his neighborhood, he would let his significant others know. Pineapple was the code to let him know that.
I remember David Neal being extraordinarily entertaining, and him coming on with me and Rocky way back in the day when I used to give out gifts on the round table, and I gave him a 50-cent poster. And then he gave it to Steve Crocker on the 5 o'clock. Whoa. Yeah. Steve didn't know what to do.
That was super awkward.
Cressy, I'm with you. To let everybody know it's okay on the other side when I get there if I go first.
Let me win a Super Bowl.
Everybody's parlay hits that one night on mybookie.ag.
No, let me win a Super Bowl. You come to me and tell me this is the way you've got to play this game. But do you guys ever think about what we're doing here? This is special for us. And us,
the Lions.
all being in broadcasting for all of these years, and it all came together 2.5 years ago right here. But we don't have much longer on this. And when I say much longer, 10 years is not a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
It goes like that. So I really haven't thought about it until now that one
these
day
are the good old days.
Yeah, that these are the good old days.
Like Andy Bernard said, I wish I knew we were in the good old days before we actually left
So we're
them.
in the good old days.
That's right. So
Let's
now
have a
we
big
know.
Friday.
And we haven't left them.
Yeah, I tweeted it the other night that this actual phrase was, because I think it was an Auburn meme, had sent out something really good that even Alabama folks were like, "Oh, that's real well played." Oh, it was the jersey unveil, Forrester, when they opened up that box and they were sitting in Coleman Coliseum and the light hit them in the face, but it was dark everywhere else. And the Auburn memes retweeted that Alabama basketball video and said, "The lights still aren't working." and I thought to myself, that is well played,
That's
Auburn
pretty well
memes.
done, yeah.
Even I will laugh at that.
Yeah, that's good.
And I retweeted that by saying, we are in the good old days of Auburn, Alabama basketball right now.
I said that the other day. That's the best this rivalry's ever been. We need to enjoy it while we can. There's no guarantee that Bruce ain't going to coach forever. Nate's not going to coach forever. This is as good a coaching combo as this rivalry has ever had at the same time, ever. Now, Wimp and Sonny were good. But I don't think they were together on the Bruce Pearl, Nate Oates level.
Yeah, Sonny
not together.
Sonny couldn't keep Auburn that good for an extended period of time.
Bruce has been to a Final Four. I mean, come on.
That's right. So it's the good old days of Auburn, Auburn and Alabama basketball. We're going through that rivalry right now. And you factor in what Andy's doing at UAB, by the way, Andy on the show at 11:45, and what Bucky's doing down at Sanford. Pretty dang good right now here in the state. That football conversation I wanted to have will come up in the next segment.
So what were you setting up there?
I was setting up that it was going to be in the next segment.
Okay, gotcha.
And you guys have spent 8 minutes on a really good thing that we're going to just continue on right after LT tells us about our great friends with well, actually, it's Brownie. He's going to tell us about our great friends at Bandwagon. I was telling somebody last night, baseball season starts today on the college level.
Right.
Softball starts today on the high school level for our buddy Forrester's got a doubleheader.
Forrester's well aware of the start of the softball season.
And high school baseball is starting too. Meanwhile, at major, there's Forrester getting all fired up in the triple box. Major League Baseball Players Association they're griping with Nike and Fanatics that their uniforms don't fit right.
Yeah,
that they were complaining last year about them, but they say this year it's even worse. That according to the players, they don't fit right and they look cheap.
Yeah, people are saying
year two of a 10-year Nike deal with Major League Baseball to make their uniforms. Nobody complained about the uniforms when we made them just down the street in Alexander City, Alabama.
That is correct, yes.
At the Russell brand.
Okay. Well, there was something, that Russell brand was awful.
Yes, but nobody complained, to Jim's point. I never got
the Major League Baseball uniforms were good. They made your Los Angeles Dodger uniform, and you never complained. You loved it. It was iconic.
They didn't know any different. I'm just shocked with the money that is being spent in these industries, and especially Major League Baseball, that you wouldn't have whatever you want uniform-wise.
Yeah, I don't understand how Nike had enough leeway to change the uniform without Major League Baseball's approval.
Here's what I'm shocked at.
And by the way, and if you guys...
all 32 teams have to get their uniform made by the same people. If I was the New York Yankees, I'd want to control who's making my uniforms. I'd want my own Nike deal or my own Adidas
I'm with you.
deal.
I kind of like the uniformed. What is that called, Rocky, when you double it up like that?
Ooh,
there's something
alliteration.
Like
no, alliteration.
Two same initials.
Same first letter.
But if you just walk, if all 30 teams are like, we're not playing until the uniforms get right, Nike's got to do something about it. But it was interesting back in the day when all the teams had their own contracts. Like my Rams, and I might have brought this up before, when they won their first ever championship, Super Bowl 34, do you guys remember who was the jersey provider?
Reebok?
For your first Rams?
Yeah. And this is 1999, 2000. Because I had one of the jerseys.
K-Swiss.
Because I got it.
British Knights.
It was Puma. Yeah. And I could bring up, so Bethany had a custom jersey. I could bring up the Puma jersey to show you guys. But, I mean, do you think anybody now today would believe us that Puma was involved with the NFL where they were an official jersey?
No way. RTD4 got it right, by the way.
I do remember one of the greatest lines of all time in a press conference, the old crusty Paul Johnson, triple option coach that coached Georgia Tech. The day all that Adidas stuff came out, you remember with the FBI and the arrest? He was doing like some spring press conference, and he goes, only time in my life I've been happy we're a Russell athletic school.
The only time in my life.
I mean, he just shot him between the eyes.
Hey, Russell just always looked itchy.
It did. But, we've come a long way. Nike's got to get it right. All that to tell you, if you've got kids that are playing park ball or travel ball or whatever, the place to go is Bandwagon Sports. Legitimately, I was telling somebody last night, I said, listen, stop going to these big box places to buy the gloves or the cleats or whatever. The place to go is our friends at Bandwagon.
Yeah, and Bandwagon doesn't have a 10-year-old putting your uniform together. That's what Nike does, right?
You got to look your best, play your best. Just ask MLB. Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for a stellar season ahead. They're with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo. Now, imagine if the Yankees had this done away. From developing your team logo design, choosing the multitude of samples, you name the sport, they make it happen. Get your uniform journey started right. Just fire them a message on social media. Go to their website, bandwagonsports.com. Pop in a store. They're phenomenal people. Hey, next round, family. It is time to jump on the bandwagon, bandwagonsports.com. It's going to be one of those shows today, Dunaway. Buckle in. It's going to be tough on you.
It's not tough on me.
No. There's going to be times where you're going to have something we're going to go on. I can tell already.
I do wish that we had historical records from the show. That may have been the longest way I've ever gone to get to Bandwagon Ever. It was a 13-minute setup to get there.
Yeah,
it was a long and winding road.
They're good people. I don't mind it.
Two things in this opening segment before we get to college football and college basketball and all that. The one is Caitlin Clark, who became the all-time leading scorer for women's basketball last night. And she's now just, I think, 99 away from breaking Pete Maravich's all-time record. It's still amazing that Pete, who played in the 60s, is still the record holder. But Caitlin Clark's on the roll. But LT brings up a great point here. And also maybe in historic fashion, I agree with everything LT's about to say about Caitlin Clark's record performance last night.
Well, I mean, where is there a world, and I guess I'll have to pull this back as I think about this out loud because Peyton Manning did it. He didn't want to play for the New York Jets, so he decided to come back for a final collegiate year where he would have been the number one overall, would have gone to the Jets, and, the history of the NFL would have been probably reshaped.
But that's still in the 90s, so you got to go all the way back to the 90s, the last time this really happened.
But Caitlin Clark she has an opportunity to be the best women's basketball player of all time.
If she isn't already.
That's not hyperbolic. I think that is legitimate. I think you can make that argument. With that said,
who's the line to beat there?
I don't know. Cheryl Miller way back in the day, swoops. Helped me out recently.
Diana Taurasi, maybe?
Taurasi was good. Sue Bird. You've got a bunch.
Yeah.
Sue Bird's into the chat.
Yeah.
That's from the commercial.
Who's the old girl on ESPN that was dogging out Caitlin Clark for taking too many shots and she got all her facts wrong? Was it Cheryl Swoops? Yeah. I'll look that up.
Yeah. Anyway, with that said,
it seems like there's been a couple of girls from Tennessee that was pretty good.
She has an opportunity to come back for one final season. She's played 4, but I think she's still got that 5th year.
She's got that COVID year.
Yeah. And
she's got that COVID.
Just because you're going to be number 1 overall in the WNBA, here's the thing. I think you're going to make 3 or 4 times the money if you stay at Iowa. Because first of all, if I'm Iowa, I'm doing anything and everything I can to keep you because this is the most relevant. I can remember Iowa in any sport, even football.
They sold out every home game, legitimate sold tickets and legitimately packed arena for every home game this year before the season started.
I think she has probably got incredible representation. I bet she's with CAA. Would almost bet any amount of money on that. And if you're her representation, I think you can get really creative with the things that you can do for her. I think she will do things college athletes have never done. I've got a feeling she'll come back because, first of all, and I know everybody says I'm misogynistic, and I don't enjoy watching women's sports. She has been great for women's basketball, though.
Because of all the women's sports games that you would watch, her game is the one.
Yeah, and I've watched her a couple of times. She's an incredible player, and I think she's really good for the sport. Now, can she take a hit from a fan rushing the court?
Well,
no, but that's another story.
A bad moment for her.
But I do think in her best interest, I think if you're CAA, if I represent her, I don't know where you guys go, but I'm like, you would be number 1 coming out. We're coming back to Iowa City. And these are the different things we're going to do. And the way you can market her and the money she can make over the next couple of years is monumental.
That's right. It's not even really the salary the WNBA is going to pay you compared to the NIL at Iowa, which probably can be matched by Iowa or exceeded. You're going to make the same amount of endorsement money, right? If she goes to the WNBA and say, Swatches want to do something with her, or makeup, or clothing, or sports apparel, or basketballs, or shoe wear, she can get all that while still playing at Iowa and playing in front of more eyeballs. The 2 most watched basketball games on Fox so far this year have been women's basketball games involving Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, here's the thing. You are going to get more exposure playing at this level. The WNBA, I know it's got great women players, but it's a bad product. To me, it's unwatchable. And for whatever reason, if I'm watching an Iowa game, that to me is watchable. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I am told on Google here, the highest paid player in the NBA is $242,154 on salary.
Easily making more than that.
Oh my gosh! And here's the thing: I would also tell her, I think you make much more in endorsements at this level than you will in the WNBA.
That's right.
I don't know if I would agree with that. That was where I was going to disagree with you guys. You guys are working under the assumption that her whatever endorsement she has right now, which are significant, I think they're Nike.
Yeah.
H&R Block, I think, among others, are just going to disappear when she goes to the WNBA.
No, I don't think they're going to disappear.
No, I'm saying it's the exact same. So why go to the WNBA? I can make more NIL money than I'm going to make salary in the WNBA. I'm playing more in front of more people
that. I mean,
than I'm going to play in front of the WNBA.
I don't think there's any way Iowa would pay her $250,000 out of their NIL.
Oh, I think they will.
I don't
They
think there's any
sold
way.
out every game this year.
You guys have to understand
you take a loss on that.
how tight these NIL funds are. And they got to fund football, which is far more important than women's basketball, men's basketball, which is far more important than women's basketball.
Okay.
$250,000 is a significant amount of money.
Anything about the state of Iowa, Iowa State, politics, farmland, whatever, anything about the state of Iowa. The number one most popular thing for Iowa right now that brings in more positive publicity for the entire state of Iowa right now is
but that's emotion. You're talking about emotion, not business.
Yeah, well, I'm talking business here, Brown.
I am too. And
you
Dunaway's
know,
talking emotion.
My
she
stance
sold out every game.
typically on the WNBA, on how ESPN pushes March Madness for women. But the good news for Caitlin Clark is you've got a woman AD in
Oh,
Beth Goetz. So Beth Goetz, whatever her name is, she's been there for a couple of years.
Well, she's pretty good. She can be goats.
If I'm her, though, and you've got Cade McNamara coming back as your quarterback, or Caitlin Clark's worth more than she's worth more than Cade McNamara is. She is.
Lance.
For the program. For exposure, it's not even close.
But exposure and dollars are different things. Football makes infinitely more than any sport on your campus.
But guess what? You're still going to
quarterback is the most important position.
Okay,
that
but
is
what's more
silly to say she's
what's more
worth
important? I would go 8-5 again and play in an Outback Bowl, or for Caitlin Clark to win the National Player of the Year and they play in a Final Four and possibly win a national championship.
You make more money off Iowa going 8-5 and going to the Outback Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
It's pure and simple. It's not even close.
Absolutely.
Not even close.
Absolutely. But that's
money you make
making
off
more
that.
money as opposed to generating more money.
business.
But what I'm saying
Generating
is
more
you're
money.
going to make that money anyway. Like, they're not going to do better than 8-5.
Not without a quarterback, you're not.
They hadn't had a quarterback in years. I'm just saying it's going to be the
That's
same
why
thing.
They need to take the money they would pay her and go to the portal and get a quarterback.
I'm saying if I was the Iowa AD, this is me saying this, by the way, I would rather have Caitlin Clark coming back than any other athlete in any sport.
I would love to see you tell that as the Iowa AD to Fran McCaffrey and
I'd have
Kirk
blown him out a
Ferentz.
long time ago anyway.
Kirk Ferentz and Fran McCaffrey. I'd love for you to sit down and say, all right, I know you guys need more money, but we're going to spend $500,000 on our star women's basketball player. I would
money well spent.
love to
I
see that
think
meeting.
they realize they're wise enough to realize that she is the most. I can't remember. You guys help me out. When was the last time we had a Iowa player? Well, I guess it was who was the big 2 years ago that won National Player of the Year in basketball, but he wasn't even at this level.
Yeah. All I know, Brown, if seeing the highlights on TV4 over here, those are not computer-generated people in the seats, and that's been every game this year.
It has been. You know who else sells out every game? Iowa football and Iowa basketball.
You think they've turned a profit on basketball this
Probably
year?
a small one. Probably much smaller than you would imagine.
Luka Garza. Luka Garza was great. He was your National Player of the Year, but, I'd just forgotten his name. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Who made more money for the school? Luka Garza and Iowa men's basketball or Caitlin Clark and Iowa women's basketball?
I can't even remember where Luka Garza and Iowa got bumped out of the tournament.
I can help you on who makes more money for the school.
I have never seen a female at this level have this type of exposure, ever.
Yeah, she's very talented. Angel Reese congratulated her last night, who's also iconic down with the national champs at LSU. A little women's basketball history to start the show. I want to tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing, then one more thing in our opening segment as we've gone really long here. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531 for a free no-cost inspection. You can also look him up on Facebook. It's Greg from Pell City in Storm Restoration Roofing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust Greg. He will get on your roof and help you out. Listen, a lot of roofing companies out there. But Greg is local. He's been part of this community for a long time, huge family, not going anywhere, which is so important when it comes to an insurance provider, because they're dealing with Greg spring after spring, summer after summer, and you build up a trust factor, and that helps you when you start to settle. He's Greg from Pell City. He's Storm Restoration Roofing. You see the number on the screen, but if you're watching us or listening to us and not watching us, 205-542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City on Facebook.
I agree with Lunsford. I doubt she's getting much of anything from Iowa, honestly. like from the University of Iowa. I doubt she's getting much of anything right now.
Well, we've spent a long time talking about it when none of us really knows what she's making.
Yeah,
right?
but we spent a lot of time talking about a lot of stuff that we don't know what we're talking about.
What she's bringing in, just in hard dollar facts, even if they're only paying $5 a ticket to put 15,000 people in at the Iowa Stadium, she's bringing in some money.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. The collective didn't have to pay her anything really this year.
Yep.
But I'm talking about if you want her to come back and forego being the number one overall pick in the WNBA, this is where you got to step it up. That's my whole point. I think it's well worth it. I think she would be smart to come back to Iowa City.
I wanted to spend a little time, though, here in the opening segment because in every town across America, whether you're in Birmingham with us or you're in Huntsville, Chattanooga, Atlanta, Montgomery, down on the coast in Mobile, if you're watching us up in Lexington or Columbia or wherever you are, everybody's got people that back when local news was a really big deal, and back when you were growing up, that you have 2, 3, 4, 5 people on local television that were important to your community. One of those guys passed away in our community yesterday, Scott Richards, who followed up the great Joe Langston and our buddy Herb Winches at Fox 6 when they made the switch from Channel 6 over to 13. Scott Richards was the guy that slid in there 1981 to, what was it, around 2014, 2016?
Yeah, somewhere in there, yeah.
Something like that.
Great run.
Was the main anchor at Fox 6. He passed away yesterday. And a lot of those years, it was Scott Richards and Janet Hall, who recently retired as well. So we're thinking about the Channel 6 family, Scott Richards' family, all of his friends, co-workers, including our buddy James Spann, who was with him at one point, sent out a nice message last night on social media.
Our good friend Jonathan Hardison, who is a current Fox 6 anchor, I know was very close to Scott and considered him a mentor. And I didn't know Scott well, but I would see him. He was a big golfer, and I would run into him at the golf courses around here on occasion, and was just incredibly nice. You know, would listen. I had not seen him since we started this, but I know back in our radio days, listened to our show all the time. Big sports fan, good golfer, fun guy, just an incredibly nice guy.
Yeah, very professional. Watched him a ton back when I used to watch local news, and I had no idea that he was sick. Something was off, and I had no idea he passed. The one thing I will remember, if we want to bring a little light and humor to the conversation, is when Dunaway tried to drop a joke.
Well, I mentioned that to Brown. I said, you never know what the last thing is you say to people.
Oh, was this the last thing you ever said to him?
Yeah. Which is why I'm laughing at you bringing this up.
Perfect, Dunaway.
I may have said, thanks for including me when I left the studio that day. But during the pandemic, Scott, who was in retirement at this point, had been charged by the Alabama Health Department about talking about vaccination, wanted a PSA shot, and this is right in the middle of the pandemic. And they included me. Scott, Maggie and I were at the beach. We were on a little getaway at the beach, and he called me up, and I called him back, and I really wasn't that close to Scott, and he wanted me to be included with some iconic news anchors. I didn't belong in the room, but they had like 6 of us, including Mike Royer and Janet Hall and Scott and Dave Baird and a couple other folks. And I said, sure, I'll do it. So I went down, and they had us, socially spread out, 6 of us, and we all had a line to read. And the crew that was there was having a hard time getting the shadow, the lighting right. I had a shadow that was sort of hitting me about mid-chin down to my mid-chest, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. And it's a lot of egos in the room, and we're all family and nice people. I just jokingly said in awkward Jim voice, don't worry about it, fellas. That's Scott's ego that's causing the shadow.
And it got a big laugh?
No, not one person laughed.
Oh. Not one?
Not one person.
I'd have been there. I would have laughed.
Yeah, I thought it was a good line.
Not even my buddy Mike Royer, who usually laughs at everything. But Janet Hall, who I go to church with Janet Hall.
Yeah,
she founded Asbury United Methodist.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, and she planted that church.
Well, I think technically John Wesley did, but she founded that.
She started Asbury as a church.
Learn something new every day.
And she didn't laugh. Nobody laughed at the joke. And I was
awkward.
like, and then I went, tough room. We've got the lighting fixed. Let's do this thing.
Hey, but try it again. Maybe if they're doing a celebration of life for him.
Yeah. Just a really good guy. And I don't know if you went top 5 icons, local news.
I'd have him
in
in
the
it.
market. Scott makes it for a lot of people.
Yeah, probably. But, I go way back to the Bill Bolin, Joe Langston.
Those are legends. Tom York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they would
Pam
be
Hoff still.
It's a tough group. I think
Ken Lass.
I think I put Scott in
Royer.
there.
James
Close.
Spann.
James Spann, Royer,
Obviously.
people like that. Gene
Okay,
Lively.
it's a Friday. Let's just have the chat room. Your Mount Rushmore of Birmingham broadcasters. It starts with Dunaway, though, because do you have more Emmys than Carly?
No, Carly's got the
I'm
record there.
Dead last. I barely have 2.
Okay.
But you've worked for everybody but one channel here. 3340 is the only one you haven't full-time work for.
No, Fox 6 is the only one.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry.
I've never worked for 3340 either. I've done a couple of zones.
Yeah,
So you're the James Harden of broadcasting around here?
I don't know what uniform I'm going to wear when I go into the Hall of Fame.
Just don't make it Nike, right?
Do y'all want to take commercial breaks at all today?
We probably need to.
Why do you don't want to? I do. I got to take a piss.
Yeah, I do need to pee.
Yeah. Well, you're the one that seems like you don't want to take a break. Segment 1 wraps up 31
I
minutes.
can drive the show today if you want to sit back, relax.
Rockstar, a little
I got
action here.
this.
No, I know. I mean, y'all do it all the time. I am willing to go. I am willing to go commercial
Well,
free.
it screws Rockstar and Lunsford up if we do, so we can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't want to take a break all day long. Todd Fuhrman at 10. He'll be our first guest. Couple more segments, amazingly, before we get there. The show being brought to you, we better go ahead and squeeze this one in case we don't on the other side. Being brought to you by the great folks at Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, you can always go online, hemphillservices.com.
Wasn't even your time to do one, but I knew you had to pee really bad, so I made you do Hemp Hill. Asked you to do Hemp Hill there. We're back in a moment right here on
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
One college football note today, the Shamrock Series is going to be at Yankee Stadium on November 23rd of this upcoming season. Army and Notre Dame will play a regular season game at Yankee Stadium. The cool part about this is that it's the anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the Four Horsemen game. 13-7 win back in the day in the Army-Notre Dame game. So they'll play each other, Shamrock Series, Yankee Stadium this year. Show brought to you today by our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Those fine folks down there will help you get back to work, get back in the game. No matter what you've tweaked or pulled or whatever, just go to this website, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, or call them up, 205-512-3885. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, getting your life back on track. Orthopedic care better together. It's 205-512-3885 for precisionsportsortho.com/2024 to make an appointment today. All right. What I wanted to bring up here in this segment is the coaching hiring cycle that we have just gone through. Forrester, if you can give me 24/7 sports. The lowest rated hire is because of lack of experience, and Deshaun Foster at UCLA, he's being given a C+. But there's a few A's in this hiring cycle. Kalen DeBoer gets an A. Willie Fritz at Houston gets an A. Jonathan Smith at Michigan State. Kirk Signetti at Indiana. Jed Fish at Washington all get A's. This is from the folks at 24/7 that puts this out. The B pluses, Sharon Moore, Sharon Moore's 4-0. I don't know why he's a B plus. Mike Elko's a B plus. Bill O'Brien's a B plus. Manny Diaz is a B. And the Deshaun Foster.
How is Manny Diaz a B?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to. Here we go. Ready? 2018 was one of the wildest coaching cycles of all time.
2018.
Yeah, remind us.
Yeah, you're going to help me out on this one.
I will tell you who's still coaching at their current school. Mac Brown at North Carolina. Neil Brown at West Virginia. Ryan Day, Ohio State. Eli Drinkwitz was hired that year at Appalachian State, still doing a pretty good job, right? Chris Kleiman at Kansas State. Tyson Helton at Western Kentucky. Jamie Chadwell at Coastal Carolina, still doing a good job at Liberty. Hugh Freeze was hired at Liberty back then. Jim McElwain at Central Michigan. Loxley at Maryland. So that's a pretty good little coaching cycle. But not all of them hit in 2018. Listen to these names and how bad 2018 was. Some major misses. Manny Diaz at Miami. He's already got another job at Duke.
He's had two. He was defense coordinator at Penn State in between.
Yeah, when he went to Miami, he lost his job, came back as a DC, now he's a head coach at Duke.
I'm not sold on the guy as a defensive coordinator.
Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech was hired in 2018. He's out now, back DC at North Carolina. Dana Holgerson at Houston was hired in 2018.
I thought that was going to be a really good hire.
I did too. Yeah. I thought they were
a really good fit.
Yep.
Matt Wells at Texas Tech, Chip Lindsey at Troy, Scott Satterfield at Louisville. You can't say that was a success, even though he moved on to Cincinnati. He got out ahead of the
I would
posse.
agree completely. It was a failure.
Les Miles at Kansas was hired in 2018. I mean, do you even remember him as the coach at Kansas?
To me, it seemed like that was a paycheck grab.
Did they? Was he the coach that first night when it was during COVID and
Coastal Carolina whipped their ass?
Was he the coach?
Yeah,
scalded him.
Mel Tucker at Colorado. He was the Colorado coach in 2018, got hired there.
Boy, you talking about ski mask and a gun. I mean, he takes 1 year at Colorado, goes to East Lansing, and the portal did him right.
When was Jimbo hired?
Jimbo was hired, it was before that. Jimbo was hired in 16.
Yeah, I was going to say 15. I guess it was 16, though.
Yeah. It wasn't 2018 as well. It wasn't right then.
So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Was that last year 7 or 8?
18. No, he was higher than 18.
So he may be the biggest disaster of the whole group.
It's pretty bad. 45 and 25, 27 and 21, but those are not the numbers that matter with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
The numbers that matter are they've got a dollar sign in front of them.
So Jimbo was part of that hiring cycle too in 2018. So if you get Fisher, Holgerson, Diaz, Collins, Chip Lindsey, Matt Wells, Scott Satterfield, Les Miles, Mel Tucker, what do you got out of them and their jobs in 2018? That was a pretty bad swing and miss in some locations there. You got some guys who are still hanging around and doing a good job. Some have worked their ways either onto the hiring cycle or not. But I just thought 2018, I mean, people are saying this is a crazy cycle because now we're even about to hire a Georgia State coach and it's gone deep. UCLA just hired their coach. It's a different coaching cycle. But that 2018 cycle was insane.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I mean, on a positive, I guess the cycle where Brian Kelly came to LSU, Lincoln Riley went to USC. So that was, 2 years ago?
Not long, yeah.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
They played 2 seasons.
Yeah, that was the craziest I had ever seen in one offseason
because of those big name coaches leaving big jobs to go to other big jobs.
Yeah, you just had some big chess piece moves in that one single year. Yeah, that was one of the crazier I can remember.
Yeah. We mentioned yesterday about the ACC in-helmet cam. The head coaches are in favor of that. They're going to vote on that coming up next week in a meeting. Also, NFL-like video review to be able to have tablets on the sidelines and coaches be able to actually see video of in-game video on the sidelines. If you ever noticed, we don't have that in college football.
Yeah, in fact, I'm not sure by rule you can have it in the – there was one moment where you couldn't have it in the press box, like the coach's box. They couldn't have electronic
and I'm not sure you can now.
You may not be. Well, I mean, I would think if you could have it on the sideline, you should be able to have it in the coach's box, too.
But remember that guy had the phone and showing him the replay, which by rule was –
it was a penalty.
Because you're not supposed to be able to look at video on the sidelines, even on your phone.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird in the NFL how they would send down the still shots. Like they would come off the field and they would have the still photos. That just seems so archaic.
Right.
They were doing that like less than a decade ago.
And 4 people around the quarterback staring at him.
Yeah, and he's holding up just a photo of the defense.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, that is so archaic looking. And the NFL at some point is like, why don't we just let them have video? I mean, what's it going to hurt as long as both teams have it?
And let's sell a sponsorship for the tablets.
Oh, yeah. And that has stuck, too, by the way. I don't know how long that deal was, but Microsoft Surface is.
Yeah. I bring that up with that because if this passes, there's another sales opportunity for, Greg Byrne and Mr. Cohen down at Auburn and anyone else, because you could be the sideline tablet provider for the University of Alabama or for Georgia football. So there's another sales opportunity.
Yeah, that's the thing. The NFL controls all that, but once you get into college, it's every man for himself on stuff like that.
100%. All right, we had a poll question we put out yesterday about the 2-minute warning, which also will be voted on next week as well, possible rule change in college athletics. I don't know if y'all paid attention. Did you see how the vote went?
I did not. Nope.
51% against it, 49% okay with it, with the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Football. I'm not terribly surprised by that.
Virtually 50-50. And
I am a little surprised.
I'm not going to get worked up about it. I almost want to see it happen.
I'm not going to get worked up about it, but again, I think it is so NFL, and I just think there needs to be a little separation between the two. But look, the NFL is the top model, and the college game has gone more and more and more NFL, and they couldn't go any more NFL than paying the players. So this is where we're at right now, but there are some things about the college game that I like separate from the NFL. But I mean, it's not going to beat me up, but I am surprised based on the fact that I would think if you voted you can only have one, college football or the NFL, our audience, against the grain, probably 75-25.
Yeah.
So I would have thought it would be more in that range.
Yeah, I was surprised that for a lot of the day it was a 50-50 split on the vote.
I told you I didn't think you would notice the rule changes this year.
I ended up I did not.
Yeah. And I just think the 2-minute warning, though more noticeable, obviously, because it's going to stop the game, I think at some point you'll just get comfortable with it and you won't even think about it. The thing to me is NFL coaches, there's a strategy on how you use the 2-minute warning that college coaches have never had to consider.
That's right.
And I just wonder how many college coaches will completely botch how they handle the 2-minute warning.
Look, I mean, everybody botches game management right now, clock management. So
I know.
But it would end up bailing them out in some cases because oftentimes, you brought it up yesterday, that they waste a timeout or two in other parts of the games. it would almost give you one timeout to waste in another part of the game to get that 2-minute timeout
Yeah,
back.
but there's like a strategy when you're trying to get the ball back to when you use your timeouts before or after the 2-minute warning. And I just wonder how many coaches will completely botch that strategy just because they've never had to think through it.
Our show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision today. Michelson Laser Vision, one of the great decisions you can make in your life. LT, you did it over 2 decades ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. I didn't even realize, I wore the contacts for years. I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts. I didn't realize I had 22 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. Ask her about the pre-inflation pricing. They're going to hook you up with that. For more information, Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jim Michelson, best in the business, michelsonlaservision.com.
Now at 205-734-0923.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. Our friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com bringing you the best coverage you can all football season with us here on the show. And they are a proud sponsor of our Saturday morning kickoff show. And they're ready right now to get you out on the road this year in 2024.
Johnston RV Center is I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. I'm going to focus on the Coleman store right now, 304, but I don't want to exclude the Decatur store. You can go there as well. But the Birmingham show is coming up at the BJCC next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. In fact, we'll do a show there Saturday with our friends at Johnston RV Center. And you can go get RV show pricing right now on the lot in Coleman, I-65 exit 304. And you can RSVP and get up to $1,000 in additional incentives as well by going to johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR. That is johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR. RSVP, get up to $1,000 in incentives at johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR. Go get great pricing, lifetime warranty on all new and anything under 2 years used at Johnston RV Center, and the selection is great. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
All right, a little NFL news here. You know, people have to make some quarterback decisions coming up this offseason. If I ask you, you know, fifth year options, contract extensions, Jordan Love, to me, proved himself at the end of last year. You like where Jordan Love is?
I mean, right now, Brown's not going to like this, but like if you were like, because Tua's coming up.
I got three comparisons, okay?
Yeah. But if you asked me if I could have Tua or Jordan Love, I would take Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is a hell of a quarterback.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. If you could choose Jordan Love or Tua Tagovailoa, who do you take?
Well, I would say one led the league in passing yardage this year and one did not.
So you're taking Tua?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know that it's a slam dunk by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
I've seen a season of Jordan Love. I have seen numerous seasons of Tua Tagovailoa, and when he is in there, the offense is one of the best in the NFL. So I would not take Jordan Love.
I would take Jordan Love just based on where he was in September to where he was at the end of the year. I still am concerned with Tua, two things, the durability, and I'm also concerned with Tua against really high competition. It seems like Tua does not play his best games against the best competition. But I mean, I got
a couple more here.
Yeah, I was going to say even Matt Stafford. For 1 year, Stafford, moving forward, I would rather have Jordan Love.
Well, but that's an age. That becomes an age situation. Yeah.
Jordan Love or Dak Prescott?
Jordan
Dak
Love.
Prescott. Yeah, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has done it. I know exactly what I'm getting out of him. He's done it a long time in the league. So Dak Prescott and Tua in front of Jordan Love.
I'm playing the upside of Jordan Love right now.
You absolutely are, because you're playing against two fairly known commodities to take an upside on a guy who is not proven long term.
Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence?
By the way, Jordan Love scalded Dak Prescott in Dallas. Jordan Love.
Well, you can't bring it down to one game. This is one where Trevor Lawrence is complicated to me.
I think he's good.
I do too.
I think Jordan Love's going to be special, and I never saw that coming.
You made that abundantly clear already.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm in the minority. I think when you watch Jordan Love down the stretch, and until he got to that San Fran game, and look, San Fran is going to give a lot of people problems, but I just want to, I don't want to short him at all. So in the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, including the playoffs, he had 8, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18, 21, 23 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the NFL, going against San Francisco, Dallas, on the road against Minnesota, against Kansas City, on the road against Detroit. I mean, really good opponents and winning a lot of those games. He beat Kansas City. He beat Detroit on the road. He beat Dallas on the road in the postseason. Jordan Love is going to be really good.
I think so, too.
So you would take him in front of all three of those?
All three of those.
Trevor Lawrence is interesting because Trevor Lawrence shows tremendous signs, and I know he was playing injured at the end of the year. That game against Tennessee that knocked them out of the playoffs was not his best moment, obviously. And I'll tell you what's going to hang around his neck is his performance at the end of the playoffs last year against Kansas City. Though there were times he was good. Didn't he have 4 total turnovers in that game against Kansas City? And then he had a ton in the game against the Chargers. But the Chargers were just as bad. What's the
postseason last year.
Yeah, postseason last year. I think he had it feels like it was 6 total interceptions. I'd have to look.
I think it was 4 interceptions, 6 turnovers.
Yeah, in 2 games. Yeah. But that's not for a full season. That's 2 games. Yeah. 2 pretty important ones, too.
Yeah. So Jordan Love is one of those guys that, I don't know if he'll reset the market. It seems like we always are resetting the quarterback market, but I feel like he'll reset the quarterback market at some point.
The thing is, and you gave Tua, you gave us Trevor Lawrence, and you gave us 1 NFC quarterback. But we've talked about the depth of quarterbacks in the AFC. And when I look at the NFC, and I can't believe this is happening because I wanted Aaron. I was so excited when Aaron Rodgers left and went to the AFC. And I'm like, we ain't got to worry about Green Bay anymore. And when I look at San Francisco, to me, the Rams are right there at least this year. But Green Bay is probably a bigger threat. Yeah. So where Green Bay is in that roster, what they've been able to put together, they scare me.
Yeah, they got young really quick.
Yeah, they did.
And just like they did when they went Aaron Rodgers from Brett Favre, and Troy's pointing that out, the last 30 years, the Green Bay Packers, they've killed starting quarterbacks.
Killed it.
Oh, yeah, they're as good as anybody apparently at evaluated quarterback. I mean, it's Hall of Famer on top of Hall of Famer.
Yeah, can you guys tell me? I think we can give examples of back-to-back Hall of Famers, but back-to-back Hall of Famers and then a potential number 3. I think you've got that right now in Green Bay, and I don't know another.
Well, Montana and Young jump out in San Francisco.
But I can't remember. After Young, didn't it go to
Jim Druckenmiller?
Yeah, somebody like that. It fell way off.
Wasn't Alex Smith, was it?
Bono.
Yeah, it might have been Steve Bono.
Oh, it was the Canadian Football League guy.
Oh, Jeff Garcia.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
Okay. Well, either way, we have not named anybody that scared Canton.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some other examples?
I can't think of any. I mean, it's so rare you go back to back the way they did with Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I thought the Colts did a really good job with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and obviously Andrew Luck, it was abbreviated because
they did go to Matt Ryan after that, who might one day be in the Hall of Fame, but still, that was only 1 year.
Yeah, and it wasn't getting them young and basically the entire career.
Yeah, it was a guy who ended his career there.
I don't know if you've got
Dolphins did not go Greasy to Marino, right? Was there somebody in between?
No, there was somebody in between.
Well, you know what's crazy is I think most organizations, you probably only have 4 or 5 that would have 3 quarterbacks considered for the Hall of Fame. Like Buffalo, you've got Jim Kelly and Josh Allen. Joe Ferguson's not one of those guys, right?
Right.
The Dolphins.
Well, Greasy and Marino. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Greasy Marino, but Tua.
I mean, Tua could one day. I mean, he puts up a lot of numbers. He's going to have to win some big games to do it.
New England is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bledsoe would have been a Hall of Famer had he not gotten hurt. He was on his way.
Yeah, the Jets. I mean, I'm saying if you go through this, you just can't. I mean, what Green Bay has done is remarkable, and it's not just 3 all time; it's 3 consecutive quarterbacks. That's got to be exciting. It's quarterback league, and that's how you win games.
NFL news also: Eddie Jackson, Alabama star, 7 years with the Bears, released yesterday. Geno Smith does get his contract with the Seahawks. He's going to be there for a while. And your man Brandon Staley, who is not a good head coach with the Chargers, but in 2000 had the Rams defense the best in the league. In 2020, I should say, not 2000. Brandon Staley looks like he could be the next defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. Be bad to see him on the rival sidelines, LT.
Yeah, we didn't get into this, but Steve Wilkes getting fired is ridiculous.
Was he in the Super Bowl?
He was.
Well, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but on that let's go with the read option at 4th and 1, and they easily got the first down. But if Bosa somehow corrals him with an arm, pulls him down, San Fran wins the Super Bowl, is there any chance Wilkes is fired?
No. And hey, by the way, if you convert the 3rd down at the 2-minute warning, there's no chance he's fired. That's on the offense.
It is.
You had the ball. All you got to do is pick up a first down, and the game's probably over.
We're 3rd in the NFL in points per game given up defensively. Only a point per game more than what DeMeco Ryans' unit gave up last year. Look, and I said this, the defense seemed a little off, but you were 3rd in the NFL in turnovers forced. You were 1st in interceptions. I thought Wilkes, all in all, did a pretty good job.
And one of my best defensive players tore up his leg running onto the field in that game. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
That's right. I mean, are they different with
Drake Greenlaw?
Yeah,
they win the game.
They
win the game.
Yeah, 100%. Tough business out there, that coaching thing. When we come back, we'll talk to Todd Fuhrman about it's a massive Saturday in college basketball. We'll talk to Fuhrman about that as he joins us from the other side. Show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. Our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Jump in there with them. Go to lanceslock.com to get the cool plays. Free winners, one every day, and then he has plays on everything throughout the weekend. lanceslock.com. Just go check that out right there. And our friends at Odie's, home of trivia on on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, and look, live music tonight and tomorrow night, both locations. Rocky, you guys out playing tonight?
We are off till March. We got.
Oh, your voice sounds great.
I told them, give me 2 weeks. I'll be sick again.
Okay. So March, we'll update you when Rocky's going to be back on stage at one of those 2 great locations. But stop in. It looks like the weather's going to be really good this weekend. You can enjoy great food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 3 decades. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, including my personal favorite, the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, the newest right there in Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Todd Fuhrman's with us almost every Friday throughout the season. Occasionally he jumps away to have a personal life. I'm amazed he's here with us after what had to be just a wild week in Las Vegas, Nevada with the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would imagine. Fuhrman is bettheboardpodcast.com, former odds maker at Caesars Palace, and you can follow him on Twitter at Todd Fuhrman. But bettheboardpodcast.com is where you'll get all the games in addition to the ones we'll talk about with him right now. What is up, Fuhrman? How are you?
I'm doing well, gentlemen, and of course I could not take this fine Friday off because you have to provide a postmortem on one Super Bowl in the NFL and then the more important Super Bowl coming Sunday for the NASCAR world with the kickoff at Daytona 500.
NASCAR is where Fuhrman, he's good with all of it. He's dialed in on NASCAR, though. What was Vegas like, though? I mean, could you move out there? Was it shut down? What was it like?
Outstanding atmosphere, and I have to give this city credit. I mean, because it is built to embrace events of this magnitude. So when you look from the south end of the Strip, Mandalay Bay, where a lot of the media folks were staying, all the way to the north end, where the Wynn was responsible for some of the marquee events, especially in the nightlife realm. I mean, you could walk up and down the Strip, safety from top to bottom. The one challenge was, of course, trying to be able to drive any of it. So trips that would normally take 8 to 10 minutes on a normal Saturday night would be more of the 50 to 55-minute variety. So I'm sure Uber drivers benefited immensely. But the feedback that I've been given from folks that have attended a lot more Super Bowls than I've been to, the proximity, the ease of getting in and out of restaurants, and the entertainment options far surpassing that of a lot of other Super Bowl host cities in a Phoenix or LA or Santa Clara, where everything isn't in a condensed, consolidated area. So we anxiously await to see when the NFL may give Vegas a second crack at hosting the biggest game in the sport.
Fuhrman, the one thing you can say about me is I'm consistently bad when it comes to Super Bowls. I brought this up when you were on last week. I gave out San Francisco. I felt really good about this game. I have now lost 8 straight sides in the Super Bowl. I am 4-18 over the last 22, and I still will stand by it. I think San Francisco was the better team. We were talking in break, if Dre Greenlaw doesn't get hurt, if they pick up a third down conversion in regulation, a lot of different factors. San Fran goes on and wins that game. It seems like they had every opportunity. Where were you on the side? And I would assume the books ultimately made money, but the side hurt them.
It did. It was not a good Super Bowl for the house. When you look at the record-breaking handle out here in Nevada, surpassed what we had seen in 2022. And it was great in that regard, knowing that the event was here and the betting basically responded to some of that. But when you look at the overall win-loss rate and the hold percentage, down substantially and one of the lowest over the last 10 years that we had seen, largely because of what you mentioned, public support for the Kansas City Chiefs, the game ultimately landing on or around the total. Some books had moved to 46.5 on game day, and a lot of the marquee players all went over their player props with that scoring explosion in the second half or in overtime. I had a little bit of exposure to the 49ers, not a big position for me, and I know people out there listening go, well, you guys are crying over spilled milk. You go back and watch that game, and to your point, LT, the Dre Greenlaw injury hurt as San Francisco had really bottled up the Chiefs' offense. The Chiefs' one touchdown drive in regulation comes off a muff punt, and the 49ers led that game for north of 40 minutes. So if they're able to execute a 2nd and 4 instead of settling for that long Jake Moody field goal, which kind of put the nail in their coffin, there's no doubt they had a path to victory here, and Kyle Shanahan has to be having plenty of sleepless nights knowing the opportunity that slipped through his fingers with the game plan they put together. They just weren't able to go out there and execute it to the best of their ability. And you give Patrick Mahomes a sliver of hope, as we've seen in the past, he will go out there, execute, and deliver for the Chiefs.
Before we get to basketball, let's do the Daytona 500 because I know you're a big NASCAR fan. Last night, the dual races, Tyler Reddick won the first one. Christopher Bell won the second one. Logano's on the pole. Jimmy Johnson, for the first time in his career, had to race his way into the Daytona 500. He was able to do that. How much money do I make when Allmendinger wins this thing?
You'll make a decent chunk of change. And look, AJ has attracted a little bit of buzz as a long shot in this race. And if you're looking to try and find a needle in a haystack, the Daytona 500 has really provided that. You go back over the last 3 race winners. Ricky Stenhouse did it last year, Michael McDowell the year before, and Austin Cindric. So this isn't a sport as terms of a race that's real easy to handicap. When you look at the odds on some of the household names, there's a reason that the Joey Logano's, Ryan Blaney's, and Denny Hamlin's are all available at prices of 10 to 1 or greater for this. So this is an opportunity to take some shots, and I think Chase Elliott would love to be able to get into the win column knowing how tumultuous last season was. So at 15 to 1, maybe worth a small nibble there. If you go further down the odds board, I think Corey LaJoie at a price of 70 to 1 makes a little bit of sense. But this one is much more conducive to watching and entertainment value than it is to making money on. There will be plenty of NASCAR races throughout the season where we'll find a true mathematical edge. I just won't say it's going to come Sunday on the shores of Daytona.
Well, Shark Bait brings up what I was going to ask you. Rain is in the forecast all weekend. which means there's a chance it's going to be a shortened race. Does that give you a better chance at playing a flyer at that point? Maybe take a chance.
Yeah, it definitely can. You'll see some strategies in play there because a lot of these race teams circle the 2 trips to Daytona, the 2 trips to Talladega and Atlanta to a lesser extent, knowing those are going to give them the best opportunities to get a win and clinch a playoff spot this early in the season. So it's provided great storylines in the past. Denny Hamlin's 3 career wins in this race. Kyle Busch still looking for his first Daytona 500 win, which would be his 19th start this weekend. So if you happen to have access to live betting options, I mean, that could give you an opportunity because you're going to see a lot of these race teams, if they feel that the forecast is going to get ugly or things are going to change on the fly, really try and do everything they can to push some of those fuel windows.
All right, let's go to the basketball. Todd Fuhrman is with us. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. At Todd Fuhrman on Twitter. The biggest game of the weekend is on Fox Saturday. Number 4 Marquette at number 1 UConn. UConn has been one of the best teams in college basketball. Shaka Smart has got Marquette right back where you had them last year. What do you see in this game?
Yeah, this UConn team has been white hot. You have to go all the way back to Wednesday, December 20th against Seton Hall to find the last time that UConn ended up on the wrong side of a decision. Didn't get caught looking ahead against my beloved DePaul Blue Demons on Wednesday with a commanding 101-65 victory there. When you look at the game against Marquette, Shaka has been outstanding in his career when his team is catching points, and they're going to be an attractive proposition in this spot in a game where I project UConn to open right around a 5.5, 6-point favorite here. You look at UConn and what they've done from an offensive and defensive standpoint, top 5 in adjusted offensive efficiency this year. They've been extremely stout on the defensive side. And when you look from top to bottom, there is no doubt UConn and Purdue have been the 2 most complete teams all season long, but should be an outstanding game and would not be shocked at all if this was a 1-possession contest late because Marquette comes in, riding a massive winning streak themselves, outlasting Butler in a game where they took professional money against them as a short 3.5, 4-point road favorite on Tuesday night.
A lot of people thought that Auburn minus 11.5 was a heavy number against South Carolina, considering the Gamecocks were ranked 11th. They had won 7 consecutive games. I laid the 11.5. It was an easy win for Auburn. They go on to win that game by 40. They're undefeated at Neville. Now Kentucky comes in. Somebody asked us yesterday what I thought the number would be. Kentucky's one of these inflated brands in basketball, as you know, much like Alabama or Georgia in football. So I think it's going to come less than 11. I would say this number's probably 7.5. What are you seeing Kentucky-Auburn on Saturday?
7.5 for me, LT, is actually a touch light, so I'd come in that 8.5 range, but I think you're right in that ballpark, and it'll be interesting to see where the first bet gets placed in this game and how the number moves. You mentioned how good Auburn has been at home. The 40-point win against South Carolina opened a lot of people's eyes. I got a number of notes. Why is South Carolina, a top 20 team, catching this many points? And about 10 minutes in, I think people realized that it was a separation of the haves and have-nots. You look at how Auburn played, avenging the loss against Alabama last week, coming away with an 18-point victory there. They have been a juggernaut at home. And while you look at the Kentucky team that they're going to be facing, I mean, the Wildcats haven't exactly been playing their best basketball, now getting in the win column in 2 out of their last 3, but still having gone 2-3 over their last 5 games. Let's see if the Wildcats play a little bit loose and free. Not sure I'd go back to the window looking to lay a number with Auburn, but I do believe you're right in line with where the market will open, with Auburn just shy of a double-digit favorite in this spot.
For Alabama, they catch a bye week, and now they get Texas A&M, who lost at Vanderbilt. To me, that makes Texas A&M more dangerous that they lost that game at Vandy. How do you see that game in Tuscaloosa, and how do you factor in the loss at Vandy?
You should get a much more focused Aggies effort than what you saw against the Commodores there. This is a game, again, that'll open right around that double-digit threshold with Alabama in that 8.5, 9-point range. You look at Alabama, a nice convincing win against LSU last Saturday, dropping north of 100 points in that contest, where it was truly a defensive optional affair. You know, A&M having won 3 games before they came up a point short against Vandy. Look, I mean, you wonder if they're a little bit deflated, but I do think focus will be there. You go back and look at these teams in the previous performance. You know, we've seen them kind of go to the mat together in the past, and I think if you're able to get 10 with A&M, it makes some sense. If the number did open at 8, probably no fly territory for me in that perspective.
Todd Fuhrman, before you go, there were some college football totals that were leaked out. I think FanDuel had these, and I'm curious if you have looked too deeply into them, and are there any that jump out at you?
Gone through them a little bit. The unfortunate part, and, people will laugh, these don't offer that much in the way of limits, so it gets to be a little bit tricky for, us to really go into them in a full deep dive and tip our hand in terms of where we want these markets to open when more books come online. But it is great, to see these sports books now in the regulated market continue to open odds sooner and sooner. The one that stood out to me a little bit, and I know it's some uncertainty and you never know what you're going to get offensively, Iowa's number actually appeared a touch short. Their schedule by Big Ten standards doesn't appear to be that daunting going into the season. You add some help along the offensive line. You get a healthy Cade McNamara back. And while it's not as fortuitous as playing the Big Ten West schedule from top to bottom, I think Iowa's total is a touch low. I can see Kirk Ferentz's team with a little bit of offense getting to 8 or 9 wins that it'll take to be able to cash that ticket. But no real mistakes in terms of the top of the market when you look at a lot of these power programs, and it'll be a question of how many other players we see transfer between now and the start of the season. And for those folks that are looking at the local schools, Auburn's win total 7.5 with a heavy tariff attached to go under that total, and Alabama with a coaching change. A little bit unusual to see 9.5 their win total and have to lay a price to go under. For someone that bet Alabama under last year, I'm still not thrilled about what transpired to Jordan-Hare in the regular season finale.
Neither are Auburn fans. Don't worry. By the way, is there a follow-up on the guy that claimed he stormed the field and bet the big money? I'm sure you've seen that story and cashed the bet because he himself stormed the field. Is there a follow-up on that?
You talking about Streaker?
Yeah,
the Streaker.
I have. I'd love to be able to know which sports books that he was betting this, because for anybody that's looked at it, whether it's a mybookie.ag or some of the other offshores, most of these books will take $25 to $50 max. So he's going to have to go through a laundry list of accounts to be able to get down enough money to be able to walk away with some profit, pay his bail, and everything else. So this just feels like a wives' tale more than anything else, and something cut from a similar cloth to what we saw back in the old days, where you would see the streakers with Golden Palace Casino on their back or the full George Costanza bodysuits at a lot of sporting events. So great for publicity, a great story, but in terms of actually being able to execute something along these lines, consider me a skeptic until proven otherwise.
So Fuhrman, I know a local guy that took up to $2,000 on Gatorade color.
And that got leaked, right?
Well, there are reports that it got leaked, and I still want to know if San Francisco wins, if the Gatorade was going to be blue.
Well, see, and that's the whole thing. Like we had talked a little bit about, you kind of have to turn into a 2-team parlay unless you know the same color Gatorade is going to be available on both sidelines. The bigger controversy for some books, guys, was the singing of the national anthem from Reba when she decided that she was going to elongate the brave, and do they grade it to the final note? Do they grade it when she goes through the song the first time? Plus or minus a second here or there. Anytime you bet into some of those gray markets, you open yourself up to sportsbook interpretations. And as Dunaway can attest to with his lovely run during the NCAA tournament, it's hard enough to pick winners when you actually have a scoreboard keeping track of the results.
Hey, so let me ask you this, Fuhrman. From a professional standpoint, let's just hypothetically say that you like the 49ers, minus 1.5 or minus 2 at minus 110. Or you've heard that possibly Gatorade is going to be blue for San Francisco and you're getting plus 225. And you felt pretty confident that your source was right on the Gatorade color. You would play the plus 225 as opposed to the minus 1.5, minus 110, right?
It would definitely make some sense. A high level of correlation, not exactly 1-to-1 if you don't get the Gatorade dump at the end. And it's what we talk about all the time when you look at some of the opportunities that are available in a game like that you saw some folks, instead of betting the Chiefs on the money line, want to go to bat with a Patrick Mahomes MVP ticket. And that created a lot of liability for sports books as well, because some books would offer the Chiefs at plus 110 on the money line, and you had an opportunity, at least early on in the process, to take Mahomes right around plus 140. So anytime you can find that correlation, it always makes sense to explore some of the ancillary markets that are out there and available. And it's one of the tricks that sports bettors have used for years to try and find the same bet or something that has a high level of connection to be able to maximize some of the results compared to what the sports books are offering.
Before you go, Fuhrman, I know you follow the industry as a whole. There was a bill that passed the Alabama House yesterday, now goes to the Senate, and then would go to the November ballot. I think they're trying to get it on the November ballot. That includes mobile sports betting. It's a lottery bill that includes mobile sports betting. It passed the House. I think they feel confident they can get it through the Senate, and I have actually seen some surveys where there's a favorable vote among those at least polled in the state of Alabama. So that's something to watch in the industry.
Hey, fingers crossed. Look, I think every state should have access to mobile sports betting in one capacity or another. We know Mississippi, when they approved sports betting, it was only through brick and mortars, that they didn't have any mobile component to it. They've since, tried to move forward in that regard. I'm not sure if Mississippi has officially rolled it out or it will be coming soon, but sports betting is coming to a state near you, and I think the faster that everybody can get on board, it's better for all parties involved. And look, our state, for having sports betting as long as we have, we still don't have access to the FanDuels, DraftKings, and some of the new age operators. So we almost feel like we're in the Stone Ages in that capacity. And for those folks as well that are following a little bit of the DFS conundrum that's going on, we saw a state like Florida kind of force their hand with Underdog, Prize Picks, and a couple other outfits. So there is a lot of political jockeying that takes place across this fine country when it comes to sports betting. Just hope cooler heads prevail, and at some point we'll have sports betting in all 49 states, because Utah may not bring it to them until about 2300.
You say jockeying. We say off the books, under the table payments coming from other states, keeping our leaders from actually voting the way they know the people want to go.
Well, I mean, look, Dunaway, they've done business in the SEC recruiting that way for years. So why no different to try and handle sports betting the exact same way, my friend?
I would tell you the trophy cases in the SEC are full of stuff. You find me a state capital in the South that has a trophy case like any SEC football program, and then I will bow down.
Those famous state government trophies that get handed out.
Look, those state governors and legislators aren't going to show their money forward-facing, but I'm sure they have plenty nice estates with guards and gated communities that show you that those are the trophies that they need to prove that they have done things the right way, or at least that they have felt have been above board ethically in their own unique thought process.
Hey, by the way, trivia question, if you're ever at a bar, if it ever pops up, the swimming pool at the governor's mansion in Montgomery is shaped like the state of Alabama.
That's a very unique tidbit, and one that I'm sure will not pop up at a trivia night out here in the desert anytime soon. But when I get down there to Talladega, I'll make sure on Talladega Boulevard to let everyone know that I have not seen that first and foremost. I'm taking Dunaway's word for it.
No, the same guy that built pools for the Holiday Inn in the 70s built this pool.
Yeah.
And they haven't updated it since.
If you have not seen Kay Ivey in her bikini, buddy, you have not lived.
Hopefully they put a couple chlorine tablets in that pool since the 70s. I think that's more important than updating it anything else.
I mean, Bob James used to do cannonballs in it.
Fuhrman, thank you for the time. Have a great weekend.
Hey, always a pleasure, gentlemen. Enjoy the good hoops this weekend, and very curious to see how the Auburn-Kentucky game unfolds tomorrow afternoon.
Absolutely. We are, too. Thank you, Fuhrman. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Who swims in that pool now, Rockstar?
If I swim to that pool, I'm going to head over to Clanton. It's peachy.
What do you think the wildest thing that ever went down in that pool?
Oh, I do not want to know.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you,
do you think there's any chance Pat Dye or Bear Bryant has been in that pool?
100%. I think both. I mean, don't forget your boy Robert Bentley was in office for a minute.
Yeah.
And he was shooting shots.
Taking his shots, yeah.
He chased it around every corner.
All right, when we come back, 4 downs later in the show, we got Trash Andy Kennedy on another big weekend for UAB basketball with North Texas in town. We'll set the table more for game day down in Auburn. What Jay Billis said on the show yesterday about Alabama's defense, all that still to go today on the show that's being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them, our friends with the Rump Shaker. It's a great event with a very important cause right now.
Yeah, important messaging here. Did you know that colon cancer, the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Checker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, visit them, rumpshakerinc.org. That's rumpshakerinc.org. Also, don't forget about the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K. The Rump Shaker 5K is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. To get registered for that, for more information, go to rumpshakerinc.org.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
It's that time of year again. The Legacy Swap and Drop promotion is back. It's bigger than ever. Swap your current auto loan or RV loan to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big with our friends at Legacy Credit Union. Not a member yet? That's okay. You too can save by becoming a member today. Head over to swapanddrop.com. Apply in minutes. That's swapanddrop.com. Or visit one of their 9 greater Birmingham area branches. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
One of those great events on the calendar every year, if you're a hockey fan like Lunsford is the outdoor games. You get 2 days of them this year because they're playing it at MetLife Stadium. Saturday night, you get the Devils and the Flyers. And then coming up on Sunday, you get the Rangers and the Islanders at MetLife Stadium. So 2 outdoor games happening this week.
Did it used to be New Year's Day? Do they still do the New Year's Day one?
I don't think they do on New Year's Day anymore.
But there used to be one. I did not make that up.
Or did they do it this year? Was it? Did they do Seattle this year
too?
Know.
It was one of those things that when they first started doing it, I thought it was really cool. But now that they do it every year, it just doesn't really.
Yeah, I think it is cool just watching and just seeing what it looks like outdoors. You know, going back to Josh Pate, who was on with us earlier this week, talking about Mystery Alaska. I know he was joking when he said it was a masterpiece. I didn't think the movie was good, but it kind of reminds you of that movie a little bit, the outdoor hockey. And I know people that played hockey growing up used to play outdoors, but we never got to see that.
Winter's Classic is the New Year's Day one, says Jace, our buddy there. Stadium Series is what this is.
Okay.
That's the one that was in Nashville because it was so good on New Year's Day. They made a couple of them, I guess. I was at the Nashville too, Jace. It was a fantastic time when we went up there for that Lightning Predators game.
Was it below freezing? Or were they having to manipulate the ice to keep it frozen?
I think they are able to put it even when it's not below freezing.
Yeah.
But that night it was pretty close, if I remember correctly. Our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa, post Valentine's Day now, but never too late to tell someone in your life, hey, I love you. Here's a great gift from Woodhouse.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As Dunaway said, 365 days a year. You can always buy that special person gift online with our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. And at Woodhouse Day Spa, not only voted America's best day spa since 2009, they've got an incredible menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatments, skincare, waxing, nail services. You can order that special person gift online 24/7. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com or stop in and get that gift of luxury from Stuart and the fine folks at the Woodhouse Day Spa, Summit Shopping Centers. Tell them the Next Round sent you.
All right, Rockstar, let's talk a little basketball here before we get back to college football. If you can give me cut number 1. Alabama starts the day off tomorrow, 11 a.m., as they play host to Texas A&M. And Emily Grace McWhorter, our in-the-field reporter, had a chance to talk to Nate Oates earlier this week down at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club about this Texas A&M game that's coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Coleman Coliseum.
What's the focal point heading into this week? The turnover and foul margin really increased in terms of success from the Auburn game to LSU. What's the focal point?
Yeah, we had turnovers are our biggest problem right now. Turnovers in our overall defense. There's lots of areas on defense, but turnovers have to be a point of emphasis. It helps our offense and defense both when you don't turn it over, giving them layups. On our defensive end, the biggest points we've been trying to make, and there's layers to it, but it's keeping the ball out of the paint. There's just been way too much. We're too soft letting it in the paint. We got to keep it out of the paint, whether it's a drive, a post catch, whatever, however they're getting in the paint. Like, we've got to do a better job at it. Our ball screen defense has to get better. So turnovers, lots of things on defense. Those are points of emphasis.
Nate Oates talking to Emily Grace earlier this week. Paul, one of our great listeners, sends in this text. We were talking about defense yesterday with Jay Billis, and we'll let you hear what Billis says here in a second. But the text Paul sent in says, I think people are too worried about Alabama's defense. Just got to get hot at the right time. Teams that made the Final Four the last 5 years with defense that weren't elite, Loyola Chicago 48th, Auburn 48th, UCLA 76th, North Carolina 57th, Miami 136th. Here's what Jay Billis said about Alabama defensively yesterday and how it all works in the Nate Oates' system, and then we'll discuss the Tide and the Aggies a bit.
You have to be a little bit careful with some of the analytics. What the analytics tell you is what a team has done. It doesn't tell you what the team's capable of. So Alabama's offense is top 3 or whatever it is, and they can score points in a hurry. Their defense is probably ranked 50 or 60 spots below their offense, maybe a little bit more. But really through February to the end of the season, say they take a 15% jump. The question is, how does it trend from here? And they're not going to be Auburn or Houston. That they're not going to reach that level defensively. But if they trend toward it and are rising as they get to the postseason, they can win this thing. They're good enough.
Paul followed up, pointing out that Alabama, and I don't know the metric he is, or the analytical site he's using here, but it's pretty close to what I've seen with Ken Palm. Okay, so it tracks. That Alabama is actually 27th defensively, adjusted defensive efficiency at home, and 175 on the road. Now, you would have to imagine neutral site will be somewhere between those two, right?
That's right.
It's probably not going to be 27. It's probably not going to be 175. Their defense was not great at Neville Arena. It's been good at home. So you don't play at Neville Arena in the NCAA tournament.
I would love to, and I know Nate Oates does this, metrics, but I'd love to see metrics of Alabama's defense the last 10 minutes of a game, because their bench isn't as deep as some people. They get a little tired, especially on the defensive end. And if you look at all their big pre-conference games, LT, I think they led in the second half at some point in all of those when they ended up losing to the Purdues and the Arizonas and the Creightons of the world. I think they had a lead in the second half and just couldn't hold on, couldn't finish the deal.
Yeah, look, their offense is good enough to beat anybody. We know that. There's a reason that they're sitting at number 15 and they've got 17 wins. But when you start to dissect the 7 losses, the least amount of points they gave up in one of those losses was 85. And on average in the 7 losses, you know what they're giving up per game? Over 90 points per game. And here's alarming. The problem. As good as that offense can be, it's going to have to be on for six consecutive games. I mean, I don't want to see 6. Let's just realistically.
Just to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, 4 consecutive games to get to where this team really wants to have a super successful season. And if you're just off in one of those games, I don't know if the defense can hold on.
Okay, but let me ask you this, because during football season, when we do these analytics things, we never judge a fast-paced offense by the same defensive numbers we did when Alabama was playing monster ball, a murder ball back in the early part of the Saban era. When they started playing a more up-tempo offense, the defensive numbers weren't the same anymore. And I think some of that has to do offensively. How come we don't say that about Nate Oates' basketball team? His style is going to make it because the way they play offense, the defense isn't going to have the same numbers as, say, Houston or Auburn.
Later in that answer, Scott cut it for time, though. I believe Jay said something to the effect of, now look, the game is different now. You got to score a lot of points in today's college basketball. People are scoring a lot of points. So
block charges even changed a lot.
That's one reason I don't get as wound up about, and this is Billis, me paraphrasing Billis, as wound up about Alabama's defensive numbers is because they still are as explosive as anybody in the country, or more so, offensively. Now, to Lance's point, let's say Alabama primarily takes care of business moving forward and is a 2 or 3 seed. I think Alabama, if you draw the wrong 15 or 14, this gets thrown out the window. But I think Alabama could probably survive that even with an off shooting night. Then you turn around, let's just for simplistic purposes, you're a 2. Now I turn around and I play the 7-10 winner, right? I'm going to have to be better. I think for Alabama to make the Final Four, it would be that next weekend. It would be the 16-8 where you would need to be sizzling offensively. And that could get you the Final Four.
I can't believe it. To me, it's a 1 weekend at a time thing. I never even think Final Fours with anybody.
No,
but to Lance's point, that's the only.
I mean, Sweet 16's not going to do anything for an Alabama fan. I'm just saying to have a successful season, it's going to be really difficult with the way they play defense. I mean, the offense is going to have to be on against really good teams.
Yeah, but as you said, for me, every year when you said here right now, I'm always like, all right, you get to the tournament and you get to that second weekend, and then you reevaluate where you are at that point. But just getting to that second weekend, and then obviously when Alabama, if they lose like they have so many times in the Sweet 16, you're disappointed because you think you had it figured out. I should win that game.
And that's the only reason I'm talking in terms of what it would take to make the Final Four, because I'm agreeing with Lance. I think this Alabama fan base, winning the SEC regular season will be great. That'd be 3 times in 4 years that you've won the regular season. Winning the tournament would be great. That'd be 3 times in 4 years you've won the tournament. I mean, you'd feel like, hey, we're maybe the best program in the SEC right now. But you're always judged on the NCAA tournament in this game, Lance. And I think an Alabama fan started this year thinking, I've seen Sweet 16 more than I want to see it. Elite 8, I've been there. I'd like to go back, but the goal's the Final Four.
Yeah,
I think you'd be disappointed if you don't make it.
Yeah, I think, if they win regular season, SEC tournament, and get knocked out Sweet 16, Alabama fans are going to be disappointed. Yeah. Even Elite 8. I mean, you were the number 1 overall seed last year, and you went out early.
Give me cut 3. Janai Broom gets asked the question that Bill has talked about on our show yesterday. Just why is Auburn so much better at home? Everybody's better at home. But this Auburn team seems unbeatable at home. 16 straight wins now, unbeaten all year long. Here's Janai Broom the other night on why Auburn is so good at home.
Name some of the reasons that you've been so successful at home.
The jungle is the jungle. Top. I think it's the best home court advantage in the country. You know what I'm saying? When you got people and students willing to camp out, and watch you guys and watch us play, that gives us confidence, knowing that they've been waiting for us to come out and play well. So, we have to reward them in a way. We can't come out here and go to bed, you know what I'm saying, and let them down, I guess. So we come out here and play for each other and the fans.
I brought this up, and I think, some people purposely misconstrued what you say sometimes on this show. We paint it like Auburn is just atrocious on the road sometimes. Not we, but people do. We've tried to say they're not. They are not. I mean, they lost a tight game to Alabama. Could have easily won that game against Alabama, right? A tight game to Appalachian State. Not as bad a loss as you would, when you say you lost at Appalachian State. That has been a good team. The only time they were blown out, they lost to
Gainesville.
State. Yeah, Gainesville. That was it. They lost to State 64-58. You guys watched that game. That was a tight game right up until the very end.
Yep.
Gainesville's the only time they've been awful on the road. We paint it like Auburn is an amazing home team, awful road team. They're a great home team.
I've seen enough. That second half in Oxford, they played great basketball.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we overplay them away from Neville. Alabama is significantly better at Coleman. We just did the stats for you.
Yeah, everybody's better at home.
Yeah, I think that has become such a weird talking point to me because it gets painted like Auburn's just atrocious on the road. They're really not. They've lost a bunch of close road games.
Yeah, I am
like most teams do.
Surprised at where we are right now on how much of a discrepancy there is between how teams play at home and on the road in college basketball. It's the best home field advantage, court advantage in any sport.
In any sport, absolutely. Bama does have some good wins on the road, including in Starkville. That was a big win when they got that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Alabama does some things away. Those neutral site.
Now they got scalded at Tennessee too.
Yeah, those neutral site road contests against the Purdues of the world in Toronto. Actual true road game at Creighton. That's big boy basketball, and they played those games. Arizona in Phoenix.
If I asked you of the 14 SEC teams, how many have a winning 500 or better record on the road?
Well, Taylor and I got this question. Okay, first. Well, go ahead. It's a different question. You're asking the same thing. 500 or better on the road.
I think South Carolina still does, even though the other night maybe should have counted as 2 losses, but it only counted as 1.
I think I saw the other day that the winning percentage in SEC games was about 41% for the road team.
I think in the SEC, Lance, conference road games, is this conference only?
This is just overall.
Okay, all right.
Overall,
conference only, I think.
But most of them are going to be conference because they're not going to play.
Conference only, I think it's only Tennessee and South Carolina, unless I'm crazy.
There are 4 teams in the SEC that have winning records, and right now at 4-4 on the road is Texas A&M. So you've got Alabama at 4-3, South Carolina 5-3, Tennessee 5-3, and Kentucky 4-2. I mean, Auburn right now in true road games is 3-4.
Kentucky's better on the road than they are at home.
That's what I was about to say. They're the only team in basketball that has a better winning percentage on the road than at home right now.
That's wild. When you've got 5 ranked teams.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it is. You're right. It is I don't know that there's a sport where home field or home venue matters more than college basketball.
Absolutely. As some of you are saying, the officials seem to be impacted by the crowd more in college basketball than in any other sport as well. 11 a.m. tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. I'll be there at that game. Little T will be down at Auburn Arena, Neville Arena, for the 5 o'clock game. I don't know if she's going to be for game day, giving you some fanfare on our social media platforms for all of that. But remember to like, subscribe, thumbs up, as we'll be covering both locations tomorrow for 2 big in-state games. And as Brown pointed out to Fuhrman, you also get unbelievable number 4, number 1 Marquette UConn tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Fox. You get a tricky good Texas at Houston game, number 3 in the country. Texas needs a marquee win here, 12 o'clock on CBS. Kansas is on the road at Oklahoma, where I think Kansas is, number 9 in the country, something like that, and they're 7-5 in the league. And Oklahoma's a ranked team, and they're 6-6 in the league. It's like the NFC South, but really good NFC South in the Big 12. Everybody's near 500, but everybody's good.
Well, this is why I like the Big 12, to me, far and away the best league in college basketball. I mean, Kansas is 5th in the Big 12, and they're 6th nationally. And you know what Kansas's true road record is?
Oh, it's awful.
They're 2-5.
Yeah,
2-5.
Yeah, but again,
McCullers isn't back. When he comes back, they're a different team. There's no doubt. He's a Big 12 leading scorer right now. I think Kansas is going to be fine ultimately, but that is life on the road right now in college basketball.
Go knock on the door at Allen Fieldhouse and play a game and tell me how it goes for you.
By the way, do we have 14 teams in the Big 12? We do. How many do you think have winning records in the Big 12?
On the road?
On the road, I'm going to say none.
If Kansas is 0.
Wait. I'm going to say Houston.
Okay.
Iowa State 4-3, Houston 4-3, and randomly TCU 4-3, and that's it.
TCU's the Kentucky of the Big 12. All right, little basketball for you there. 4 downs and a little college football as we continue on today. Andy Kennedy joins us in 1 hour on the show that is being brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop, one of our great sponsors there.
I went and saw our buddy Jim. I had a little meeting over here in Cabo Heights yesterday after the show. I walked over to the New York Butcher Shop to see our friend Jim and the fine folks over there. Met one of his butchers, Frank. Just great dudes, man. And picked up some of those USDA prime fillets. Did it in the iron skillet last night. Got some of his red potatoes, some mushrooms, one of the great side salads. Just fantastic food. If you don't want to get out this weekend, go by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up some of the incredible premium pork chops, the prime beef steaks, burgers, all natural chicken cut to order just for you, ribs. They've got it all with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the next round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Back with you on the next round as we work through the show today, being brought to you in part by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. LT, tell us about those great folks at Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. Trusted name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hemp Hill Services, hard to stop a train.
All right. The best infomercial of all time. Rockstar, if I asked you best infomercial of all time, for you, it is what?
The best infomercial?
Yeah.
Yep. The big green cleaning machine.
Really?
Esteban.
Esteban?
It's got a real Hambo neckline.
I would say maybe the Tom Amansky with the crime dog, Fred McGriff, where they're throwing the ball out of the outfield into a trash can.
What about you?
The jingle that I remember, and they continue to have it, is 1-800-EMPIRE.
Yeah, that is really good.
Empire Today, the carpet company.
I mean, it went like WOR in New York, WGN, WTBS, all those super stations had it way back in the day, and it's still, I hear the jingle every now and then.
A story that was on, I think it was the New Yorker magazine, says the best infomercial of all time was actually the television show Love Boat, that the cruise industry was nothing in the mid-1970s.
About lovemaking in the cruise.
500,000 Americans a year, that was it, that went on cruises in 1977. Because of the Love Boat, and I got a great quote here, by 1997, 5 million people were going on cruises every year. That number now is over 20 million Americans a year going cruises.
And they think that started really with the Love Boat. That was the revival of it?
Because they said until the Love Boat, Americans, when polled, thought cruising were for the uber rich or the elderly almost dead.
Are you kind of surprised they have not done maybe they have done a Love Boat spinoff? It wouldn't be called the Love Boat now.
They did a reality series, I think, but also
Below Deck.
Then why? But why, if this is another popular industry, why make an entire show about it?
That is a great Rockstar asking a good question. Yeah, I wonder what the motive behind the show was.
It may have been. I think Royal Caribbean and
Carnival
Carnival
together.
had just launched.
Yeah.
But Royal Caribbean had one ship. Like they didn't even have a lot of ships. Like they each had one ship maybe.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it was such a. But it was the Titanic not a cruise ship technically?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think that was good for the cruise industry.
No, exactly. That was not. That was the anti-infomercial.
I think it was a nice ship. I don't think it was a cruise ship. Like, hey, we're going to the islands. I think it was we're going from London to New York City.
Well, it was a cruise ship for the wealthy.
Yeah.
The other guys were in the steerage.
I can get y'all halfway.
Yeah.
Before we do 4 days. OxyClean, Thigh Master was a good infomercial.
Slap Chop from Russell, you're going to love my nuts. You remember that guy?
Yeah.
He had some issues afterwards.
Forrester has Shake Weight.
The Shake Weight was amazing. I'll never forget the first time we saw Shake Weight. We were doing the show in the downstairs studio over in the Crest Building at Cumulus. So it was probably circa 2011, 2010, 2011. But when that thing came on, I mean, we couldn't hold it together.
The Flex Seal guy that slaps it, he does the boat and he makes a screen door into a boat or something.
Yeah. That's a good one as well. 4 Downs every day brought to you by our friends at Slice. Slice, wonderful place for lunch or dinner. Date nights on Friday nights. I think Reed's family was out there last Friday night.
I'm actually taking my family to Slice tonight. Very excited about that. Just fantastic. Local pizza, local ingredients from the soul pie to the Bajaya special. You're going to absolutely love it. Get in and see the Bajaya Brothers. 4 locations. Soon to be that 5th location coming to Homewood. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better chance of winning another championship, Bill Belichick or Tom Izzo?
Are there starting to be rumors circulating that Izzo's going to retire or something like that?
I mean, Izzo hasn't won.
I mean, it's fallen
as
off.
good as he's been in the Final Four, getting to Final Fours, he's only won one national championship, and that was almost a quarter of a century ago.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now in the Big Ten. They are 22nd in the net, so they're obviously solidly in at that point if it doesn't fall apart.
But they don't look like a team that you'll even have in the Final Four. But I'm not sure Belichick coaches again.
I don't know if he does.
So Izzo's the only one that's got a fighting chance, but the answer is going to be neither.
Yeah, like most 4 down questions. I am going to say I would give Izzo a better shot, though I think Jim's right. Neither is the correct answer.
I mean, I would almost, and I don't think Nick Saban, he had a great quote out at the Waste Management about possibly coaching in the future. He says, if I was going to coach in the future, I would have coached at Alabama forever.
It was a guy trying to get him to take the Arizona State job. He's like, but if I was going to keep coaching, I'd have stayed at Alabama.
I'd have stayed at Alabama forever. So, but I'd almost say you could throw Saban into the mix there, and I would take Saban over Izzo or Belichick, and he's not going to coach again.
Second down.
So when Caitlin Clark, over the next couple of games, or next few games, breaks the overall Pete Maravich scoring record for college basketball,
99 away,
will you consider what will be more of a legitimate record? The Caitlin Clark over Pete Maravich, or Barry Bonds as the home run king? And the reason I say this is Maravich obviously only played 3 years. There was no three-point line.
And she's going to play 5, but she's going to break it in 4, but more games. There was a 3-point line. She's very good at that. It's women's sport compared to men's sport. I'll even say that as the moderate on the show, so you guys don't have to. It's different.
Bonds played more games annually than Ruth did. It was an expanded schedule, but the thing with Bonds obviously is the PEDs. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't consider him over Ruth or Aaron.
But Aaron is the guy who's the record he broke. Listen.
I mean, who do you guys consider I consider Barry Bonds a home run champion.
I consider Henry Aaron.
I consider Barry Bonds the home run champion.
I don't give it much thought ever.
And I will say this. Again as the moderate on the show. I don't think there should be an all-time leading scorer in Division I basketball.
I agree with Jim.
I mean, if it's a shared sport, basketball is the shared sport, but women's basketball is a different sport than men's basketball. Caitlin Clark is the all-time leading scorer now in women's basketball. Pete Maravich is the all-time leading scorer in men's basketball Division I. Let that just be the same. I don't think now we should be Caitlin Clark chasing Pete Maravich's record. Pete Maravich's record is Pete Maravich's record. Caitlin Clark now holds her sports record. She never played men's basketball, right?
Right.
So she can't break Pete Maravich's record. And Serena Williams was always the best female tennis player of all time. And people was like, why do you say female? Because she was the best female tennis player of all time.
But
she never played on the men's circuit.
I get that. She was asked once about it, and she's like, "Oh, I'd get destroyed by the top men players. I could not compete with them."
We're going to do this because this is what we do. Caitlin Clark chasing Pete Maravich's record. She's not. She has broke her sports record. She is the greatest scorer in women's basketball history to this point, and if she plays another year, maybe all time. Maybe nobody will ever break Caitlin Clark's record, but in my eyes, she's not chasing Pete Maravich's record because she's never played men's basketball.
Well, it's why I asked the question, because there is a little controversy with both sides of this, and obviously for Barry Bonds, people don't recognize because of the PEDs.
Yeah, that's the PED reason, but Bonds is he's a home run record holder to me because that's what Major League Baseball recognizes.
Third down.
The Weeknd, 34 years old today. Ultimately better career, The Weeknd or Bruno Mars?
I'm going to go Bruno Mars on this one.
It's tough, though.
I would tell you it does seem like Bruno Mars has more pitches. Like he can come back and sound different.
I kind of agree.
Different styles.
He can play multiple instruments. But what's interesting to me is way back in the day, you guys remember the MTV VJ Pauly Shore?
Yeah.
Randomly, he was outside doing his show, and he interviewed this little kid that was an Elvis impersonator. And
it was Bruno Mars?
It was Bruno Mars. Like 30 years later, comes back and is so uncomfortable because he's super
Do you
shy.
remember the movie it was?
He was in Leaving Las Vegas, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Jack and I were talking about that this morning on the way to school. He was one of the Elvis impersonators, because I asked Jack this question and ran it by. And he said Bruno Mars. I think it's going to be The Weeknd, just because The Weeknd, maybe he'll shut it down. He works nonstop. It's like, since he busted onto the scene really in like 14, 15, I think it was 14, he hasn't stopped in a decade. He is grinding like Taylor Swift. And Bruno, which I don't blame him, he's taking a little bit of time here and there. I think Bruno's more talented, but I think The Weeknd's going to continue to churn this stuff out.
I enjoy The Weeknd, but I think at some point, like Bruno Mars can do, he'll come out and he'll do like another album and sort of from the Earth, Wind, and Fire genre. And then he'll come out and he'll do one like a Las Vegas lounge act. And then he'll come out and he'll be a hard rocker at one point. And he may do just Hawaiian music. I don't know. He will do different genres and will last longer, I think, Bruno Mars.
Fourth down.
So final birthday here. We got two of them. John McEnroe, 65. Ice-T, 66. John McEnroe, Ice-T, better career.
How many majors did McEnroe win?
I would say 3. I'm just guessing.
Only 3.
I was going to say 7.
Did you ever see, there was a highlight of him arguing with the judge? He said, you cannot be serious. Did you ever see that?
He got all pissed about something?
You've got to be serious.
Look, I mean, he was a crossover guy, mainstream. But, Ice-T was one of the original, when you talk about this pure gangster rap, and he had a little heavy metal in him. He obviously acted from New Jack City to what he still does with the Special Victims Unit.
McEnroe, first of all, 7 total majors, 3 Wimbledons, 4 U.S. Opens. Jim's tennis knowledge is through the roof.
A lucky guess at 7.
That's in the singles. Grand Slam wins.
Those are men's wins, though.
Yeah, they are men's wins. He did not beat the women. I would say that McEnroe too, though, and this is probably not going to impress anyone, he became the face of tennis television. I mean, he was the best tennis analyst for a very long time.
But you can pull the lyrics. Let's Get Butt Naked and F by Ice-T. I don't know if it gets any deeper than that.
Did he have to pay royalties to Jimmy Buffett and Let's Get Drunk and...
It's totally different. If you look at the lyrics side by side, Ice-T really gets after it. I mean, Buffett was...
More details.
Yeah, Buffett was just trying to find a divorcee, get her loaded up on a beach, some dive bar where Tom Cruise is slinging drinks. Ice-T just came out and threw it out there.
Yeah, that is our 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Again, 4 locations. Get into the Bajai brothers, created by the late Jeff Bajai. Just an incredible guy, incredible concept. His brothers celebrate his legacy every single day. Get in and see Jason and Chris. Tell them the next round sent you. 4 locations, Slice, Birmingham.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Yeah, early detection. We all go, right? A different variety of reasons. We go get checked out on the reg with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. They've got 16 locations, 35 urologists all across the state of Alabama for all your urological needs. I have a friend who is just dealing with a kidney stone a couple of weeks ago. Was having to have that taken care of. That can be painful. My dad dealt with that for a lot of my childhood there. I don't think he still does. For some reason, that's been cleaned up. But from kidney stones to prostate exams, anything you need in between there, all your urological needs, Urology Centers of Alabama will take care of you. Here is the website, urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com, or call that number, 205-930-0920. Back in a moment, right here on TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Champy's Chicken Hour now. Final hour of the show today brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken. Love those folks right on 119. Lunsford, his beautiful wife Laurel back there. I never get to come see you before you leave, Laurel. Thank you again for great cookies and everything you do for Lunsford there. Nice to see the wives when they swing by here.
What a post from Lunsford the other day on Valentine's for his wife Laurel. I don't know if you guys saw that. Like, I'm not on social media as much as you guys, but every now and then I'll catch something. And it was right when he posted it, but it was really sweet and heartfelt.
He didn't quote Ice-T.
No, he did not quote Ice-T.
Julie, don't do that.
But I'll just say this. Maybe I'm getting a little too soft up here on a Friday.
You're not.
I think it is so awesome when two people in a relationship enjoy their company as much as those two enjoy each other's company. To be able to get in a car and drive 8 hours and go somewhere and spend the entire weekend and post these pictures. And you can tell they really like hanging out together. And there's so many couples that are together that hate each other and hate spending time together. And it's sad. Life's too short for that. So I applaud the Lunsfords. I think they do a great job of being in love.
I was just talking to Lunsford yesterday about how whipped he is. And
wow. That's from Dunaway.
Wow, I like that caveat.
Anyway, congrats, Lunsford. A lot of people out there would love to have what you have.
Absolutely. They are and we saw the blossoming of that.
I'll tell you, kid will mess it all up.
What will?
Kid will mess it all up. Well, I mean, just for a couple of years, and then it'll be like, damn, I probably should have had more of these.
Well, I
would say a couple of Vishlas could mess it all up, Lunsford.
It's like having 3 kids.
They get up at 1:30 last night, and they've been really good in their crates, and they start whining. And so Chili will go right under the covers, but not Bullet. Bullet is got something. I told you he's on Prozac. But they were up all night.
You did not.
Yeah, he's been on Prozac for about a month. So I had to take him and then go back to my comfortable couch downstairs and try to sleep on that. And Bullet wouldn't sleep last night, so I didn't sleep last night.
I had a friend once whose marriage was on the rocks. And
he got a Vizsla.
And he told me, he said, you know what, I think we're going to be okay. I said, why? He goes, well, so-and-so's pregnant. And I was like, you think that's going to help it? I was like, you're out of your mind.
You know how many people do that, though?
Yeah. If you're thinking of doing that, let's give some advice here.
Don't do it.
Your marriage is falling apart and you're thinking having a kid is going to save it?
Nope.
No, it is not going to save it at all.
Yeah, some of the best situations.
I thought somebody was having problems with their Vizsla and got pregnant to save it. I missed that they were saving the marriage.
You're on the same page.
No, to just make things better at the house.
I'll go on and tell you, a second Vizsla is not the answer. I've tried to warn Stephen Pearl. One Vizsla is the way to go. I think you should have multiple kids. But I have met so many people that got divorced before they ever had their first kid, and they're all in great spots. If you force that kid with somebody you don't like,
terrible idea.
Remember this: you're going to be in their life forever.
Yep. And I know you're not a huge fan of Jim Gaffigan. And I am. I like Jim Gaffigan.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah. One of his greatest comedic lines ever was, having a kid is like you're in a body of water, you're drowning, and you can do nothing to save your life, and somebody throws you a kid. That is the best description of being a parent I've ever heard.
He's got 5 kids, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He knows it better than anybody.
But, where I am now, that my kids are 20 and 16, Dunaway loves this.
What do you mean?
You just seem like you're like, oh, please hurry.
No, I don't care. Y'all talk all you want to.
No, I wish I told you I could have drove the show today, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
I wish I would have had 3. There's a revelation for you right now. And somebody asked me,
3 kids?
I wish I would have had 3 kids.
It's never too late.
It is too late. Somebody asked in the chat room, will I get to the end of February and maybe never drink again? It's on the table. I'm going to say that.
Oh, really?
It's on the table.
There has been a revelation this February, the first 16 days where you think you may never do it again?
I jinxed this. I was talking to our friend Jim at New York Butcher yesterday when I went to pick that stuff up, and he's like, so how's dry February? And I said, I will tell you this. I haven't lost any weight. I don't feel any different, but I'm able to sleep. I get up once a night as opposed to 4 or 5 times. And he's like, you're the second person that told me this. Like, somebody was in a couple of days ago and they said the one thing that has been beneficial is they're being able to sleep. And I was like, I've even thought about really long term now because I'm able to sleep. But then last night I couldn't sleep. So I jinxed it.
Well, I wouldn't base it just on the one night. If you've seen a trend.
We'll see. Yeah. It's been
I got up a couple times last night too, and I normally sleep through the night. So maybe we had an earthquake.
Yeah, maybe.
You got up to go to the restroom, though? Is that why you got up, or you just woke up?
Well, last night was a Vizsla situation, but I always get up once a night to go to the restroom. But if I drink, I'm getting up 3 or 4 times. I don't know about you guys. I know sometimes you partake on weekends. Do you get up more on weekends?
Partake like drinking or edibles?
That's what I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about like do you get up more in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom? Because, I mean, it's kind of a scientific thing. If you've got more in the bladder, you're going to piss it out.
Yes, I've seen that in the books.
I usually get up at some point between 1 in the morning or my alarm going off to go to the bathroom, and that's it.
Another thing that I've noticed, how nice it is to lay on the couch without having to have a drink where you really can't put it anywhere. And you got to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So now I just get on the couch and watch a movie.
So we're not just doing this because Rick and Bubba's retiring. This show's about to be dry, and are we just going to be no alcohol? We're going to eat ice cream. We're going to talk about gravy and food now. Is that what we're going to do?
I'm
we're going to try to fill a hole in the market.
I think
a hole in the market.
When we first started this show, why did you guys not want to do a show with me? The main reason.
Well, I was not particularly a fan of segments like Name That Stripper and things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was
that was stuff we just had not done.
I was a black hat guy compared to where you guys were kind of a white hat.
Let me say this. You were... the narrative was you were, and I think what Jim and I found out after working with you for a little bit is that was an incorrect narrative.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, like I think at the core,
you changed some too. We all changed.
Yeah, I think at the core, I've never been really a bad person. Not to make this a testimonial, but I was doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't proud of.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I do think things have changed a lot.
100% they have. I think we've all, I think you change naturally as you get older.
But I think there's a lot of people that like me less because I've changed.
But you can't worry about that.
That's El Diablo, right?
Yeah. That's El Diablo getting after you, boy. Dunaway, I think one of the faults I had as we launched this show was I knew Lance, but I'd never taken enough time to get to know Lance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Lance was a coworker. And when we started the show, Lance became a friend, and I saw Lance, who the real Lance was. You know what I'm saying?
I do. What I was always concerned about until this became my primary job was always losing my other job. You know, I was always worried about keeping a roof over my head, and I was always fearful that I was going to do something on radio that would cause them to fire me on television. That was always my concern, was not to lose what was my primary income by what was my full-time job, but not paying me the most amount of money. I needed both paychecks to do what I was doing in life.
Your extravagant life.
Yeah, but I think, Rocky, we met in the middle pretty quickly. I mean, we never had a Name That Stripper.
No, we didn't.
I don't know the most controversial. I was telling the story about the crock herner because Maddie was telling me one of her worst moments as a kid was when she was 6 and they were going to like Disney World and her mom broke the news the croc hunter had been barbed by the stingray. And I said, one of the funniest things Rocky ever did was I interviewed the stingray that killed the croc hunter.
He was an interesting guy.
People didn't think it was funny, but we stopped doing that stuff when we kind of joined forces with you guys.
And let me say, a lot of people think we killed the Babe bracket. Actually, it was a suggestion by Dunaway that we all got behind that killed the Babe bracket.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a fantastic idea.
And it was.
We were doing the Babe bracket, but instead of, I was just like, why are we, Blake Lively and all these people? Let's make it local. Let's get 64 submissions from local people.
Yeah.
And so we had, boyfriends and husbands sending in pictures.
Corporate didn't like that.
Who didn't know we were doing that?
Yeah, corporate attorneys.
Also, we painted ourselves in the corner because some people submit photos. They're like, "Oh God, we got to put this on."
Well, remember the first one we put on the website, and we started talking about it on the air. Lance is he's honest,
and people were distorted.
She was not the best looking person in the world.
And that was the problem. Like, I didn't think.
That's when corporate said, wait, what are you guys doing?
Whoa.
This lady lives in Aniana.
You guys probably know this about me. I don't have a filter when it comes to that. I'm going to give you my opinion. And I mean, that was the thing about the chick bracket. You had to be legitimate. I mean, you had to find things, the positives, the negatives.
So that's when it dawned on me, okay, we're about to have 64 guys send us their wife, mother of their children, and or girlfriend.
Without their permission, we don't know.
With or without permission was a problem with corporate, but then what really became a problem with everybody everyone was Lance was going to rip them apart.
I know.
And there was a chance that our glass was not bulletproof enough to get the old shotgun blast.
We were going to have angry husband or angry woman coming after us, but somebody was going to be angry.
Well, I didn't realize Lunsford's right. I mean, a certain person cheating killed it for him. Like, I didn't realize you could manipulate the vote like some of the local girls did.
I know, and that was one reason we changed it. We were like, well, if we've got 64 local people manipulating the vote, they're all listening to the show.
That's
That's
right.
great.
Instead of having two people clicking the votes, let's get 64 and run those numbers up.
Hey, you know what? Now that we're all about the likes and impressions, maybe it's a good idea to bring this thing back.
We don't have the attorneys we need.
If you don't kill everyone with their looks, she's good for a mother of two in her 30s.
But I mean,
how about I could kill them with silence?
If you ever adopted that phrase,
what about I kill them with silence? If I don't say anything, can't necessarily be a good thing.
The funniest part was like the first day we did it when we had 2 photos up, right? And that was like Dunaway. So that was the day corporate attorneys were basically waiting on us when we got off the show. And they were like, okay, so these women have signed some sort of waiver that you could use the photo? Or like,
nope.
No. Well, their husband sent it to us. Do you know if their husband had permission to send it?
Nope.
No.
Do you guys, I don't remember.
And you put them on the website?
And I'm asking to see if y'all know when HR really became a big part of corporate America. And the reason I ask this is
about then.
We had interns all the time that were part of the chick bracket.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
and
that.
So we were actually posting their pictures, and we were breaking them down as well. I don't know if you can do that in corporate America.
I will remember because we never did our whole chick bracket. It was that one we did. One of our interns,
the horse,
was posed in front of a horse.
Yes,
well, she had one where she was like in the pool and shallow end, and then one she was like speaking like horse whispering through a fence.
Posed with a horse. So I'll never forget that.
Did
photo.
she ever do anything as an intern besides read a magazine?
We had her comment about we did reenactments on the show. Remember her and we did the interns had to reenact the Goodfellas.
I don't remember that.
I was explaining this to Taylor coming back from one of the basketball games.
So good.
She's been to. I said it just dawned on me. One of the worst ideas I ever came up with was I think it was intern theater.
Intern masterpiece theater. Yeah.
Intern masterpiece.
I think it's
theater.
a great idea.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, we only did it one time.
I just never forget her going, "What? I make you laugh like I'm a clown or something?"
Yeah, that was what it was.
It was that line.
So y'all thought, why did we only do it once? If y'all thought it was a good idea.
No, let's
also said,
bring it back.
We were talking about the combine, and somebody called to talk about the combine, and she goes, "Why the hell does somebody want to talk about a tractor?"
Yes, I remember that.
And I was like, "You are a sports intern."
She went on to become a flight attendant.
She did.
I have no idea where she is now.
Yeah.
But most of our interns, they got paying jobs. Now, whether or not it was in the industry is a whole other story.
Yeah. Jace dated a few of them. He says
he did. I think he married one, right?
Worse. He did not marry an intern, no.
Yeah, he did.
I thought he married like the cowgirl.
No, he dated the
barrel
cowgirl.
racer.
The barrel racer. He dated her.
The Olive Garden
He
girl?
married
That's right,
Molly.
that's right.
He married Molly.
Oh, I thought Molly was the Olive Garden girl. Was she not?
No.
There's one I'm still friends with on Facebook, and
Zach is friends with Jace. Zach is going, hello. Zach's eating this up. Zach's going to be calling Jason right now and saying they are roasting you.
I don't know how we could possibly do this. I would love to have a reunion of interns.
Oh, it would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was a flight attendant. One of them works for the rodeo.
One's a great mom I stay in touch with down
I think I've seen
Montevalla grad.
Yeah.
She's a mother of 3 or 4.
One is still lives in Tuscaloosa. She, like I said, I'm Facebook friends with her, and I see it pop up occasionally.
Yeah.
But I just wonder where somebody like Zach with the beard.
He's got a kid. I saw him.
It's like Post Malone before Post Malone.
He's got a kid. I saw him. We had texted back and forth, but I know he just had a daughter who's probably 6 months behind Cord. So
the barrel racer still works with the professional.
Oh, she's still with the rodeo?
Rodeo.
Who was so the year would have been 16 when we went to see Clemson, Alabama, because I remember he kept coming and getting me up off the couch. Was his name Terry?
Oh, I don't know.
One of the only ones that is actually working the business.
He was the bro.
Is Lauren
Otto?
Claiborne.
Oh, she works?
She's at the NFL Network, yeah.
Well, I thought she was just married to Patrick. She actually works for the NFL Network?
No, she's one of their content creators.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she does editing and segments, and she's really a big deal with the NFL Network.
They work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I remember, so I ran into one that was working at a sunglasses store at the Galleria years ago and had completely forgotten he was an intern. Oh, one works at 3340, Rockstar Coop. You remember Coop? I see him at 3340 on occasion on Sunday nights. Yeah.
Jay Pear, who is married to the little meteorologist. He listens to us daily. He's a successful businessman out in Dallas.
Yeah, that started as him as an intern.
I mean, the most successful is probably Lunsford, right?
Oh, yeah. Lunsford's a contributor to
Got
a daily
the old dream job, what we call it.
Yes, he is. Climb the old ladder.
Is now a good time to work in a sponsor? Dr.
Yeah,
B.
absolutely.
Dr. B brings you this segment right here, part of this segment. We got other sponsors we'll get to still in this segment. Tell us
Yeah,
about
man, Dr.
B.
Beckstein, I actually did that treatment last night watching the random movie Mad Max Fury Road. I'd never seen that, Rocky.
Great cinematography. That's all I'll say.
The cinematography. Yeah. I mean, George Miller, what he did with that film was incredible. But I was watching that last night. I had the LED hat on, the non-invasive treatment. I do it 30 minutes 3 times a week on the couch. That's all I'm doing. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Schedule the consultation. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Tyler says a prequel's coming out this year for Fury Road.
It was, Jack said, this is one of the weirder movies I've seen. But they've got this one dude on guitar just playing nonstop.
Is Tom Hardy the guy? He's driving the. Yeah.
But that guy is literally blind. He was a blind musician that they like.
Oh, like Jeff Healey?
Yeah. Like they.
Boy, they made him work.
Yeah, Jeff Healey can play the guitar blind.
Stop.
All right.
Rod Stewart sold his catalog, Rockstar, for $100 million. That seems like a good. I mean, what's Rod Stewart in his 70s?
Oh, he's got to be almost 80.
Yeah, he's close to. I'd say 78.
I don't think I'd have a problem selling my catalog at that point too.
Not at all.
That's the new thing. Springsteen's done it. Bob
Springsteen
Dylan
sold his catalog.
Did I not hear that? I know Bob Dylan did.
I'll tell you this: Springsteen's doing a lot of. He did the sit down on One Night in Pop, or The Greatest Night in Pop. And then he was on Curb, second episode, Sunday night.
Yeah, that Greatest Night in Pop, he gave them a lot more than I thought he would. That was a long interview. I mean, the most was Lionel Richie. Probably the second most was the Boss, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
Yeah.
By the way, Rod Stewart's 79.
Yeah.
79. I mean, $100 million. His heirs will get that, I guess, when he passes.
Good for them.
Those songs can't take them to heaven with you, right?
Nope. They already got music up there, Jimmy.
I mean, honestly, if you guys took over a catalog like that and your father was one of the most famous recording artists in history, would you sell his catalog?
In a heartbeat.
What I would do is I would convince companies to use his songs in commercials, because I think you get a little short version of Hot Legs or Do You Think I'm Sexy or Maggie May or whatever. You get it in a little commercial, whether it's a new Land Rover or some kind of
spicy chicken nuggets for Burger King.
Whatever it is.
No, Applebee's brings back the cheesy 80s songs and 70s.
But I mean, I think those things shoot up
Taking
Spotify.
Care of business.
I think they shoot up Spotify when they're in commercials.
Sure. Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, have we even seen how Usher did after Super Bowl 58?
I did not.
Normally, you see those numbers released, like Usher's #1 right now in streams. I haven't seen anything about it.
He dropped a new release, though, so I'm sure it did well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's got a tour now.
The only one I know
got
of
engaged,
is that
took his shirt off.
Yeah, Tracy Chapman hit #1. Her version of Fast Car, not Luke Combs. Her version of Fast Car hit #1, which
a couple of times now.
Good for her.
It's gone back and forth. Brown, pull up the Guardians story yesterday about their eclipse. They're changing the eclipse. Their opening game, they're changing a time because of the same worry I had about Alabama fielding punts. You guys made fun of me, but let me tell you about our friends at Legacy, and then Brown will update us on the Guardians actually changing the start of their season by what I talked about over at Bryant-Denny Stadium earlier this football season. And Taylor and Brown had no end in making fun of me. Our friends at Legacy want to remind you right now, it is a great opportunity to do the swap and drop program with them. They do it every year. It's a small window for you to take advantage of Legacy's great deals they have on car truck loans. Here's how this works, and then I'll give you the official copy. But here's the dumbed down version of how I figured this out years ago. You have a car loan or a truck loan, and it's not with Legacy, right? And then you will save a lot of money if you take that car or truck loan and move it to Legacy, because they're going to give you a great rate. Usually the best rates anyway, but in this special time, definitely going to beat the rate you got. All you have to do in their annual swap and drop promotion is move that car or truck loan, even a boat, a camper, a motorcycle, or an ATV, and you swap it over from your current loan provider to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payments. Here's where you get details. Swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com. It's worth a look no matter what, right? You got a car or truck payment out there. If you didn't pay it off right off the start, you're paying monthly payments. Just go check out swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com, just to see what Legacy can do for you. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. It's our friends at Legacy. Swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com. Brown, the Guardians. Well, opening day, there's going to be a historic event happening in America.
Full eclipse.
Full eclipse, and they're going to delay the start of the game.
Yeah, but I can't see that it's for safety.
They're doing it because they don't want to, you're sitting there, you're playing the game, you don't want to look up for a fly ball and have to field a foul ball in the middle of the eclipse. You're not supposed to look directly at it. What if that ball's right there, Brown?
You're not supposed to look directly at the sun either. That's what I was pointing out to you with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I have come across people that have been bitten by sharks, snakes, struck by lightning. I have never talked to anybody that has been scarred from an eclipse.
I was only half joking, Brown. They are moving it though because it's such a historic event.
Well, they're going to open the stadium to fans so they can watch it there, obviously, but
securely watch it with proper eyewear.
They're in the what do they call it? In the total darkness. Cleveland, I think, is the only opening day city that is in the path of total darkness.
That's right. So they're right in the line, and I think the next time it happens is going to be for that area is 24:40.
Yeah.
It's going to be a minute.
Yeah, I know people who last time this happened went to the Total Darkness. They say it is super freaky.
They drove up. Wasn't somewhere in Knoxville, that area
Tennessee,
was the closest way?
My brother actually drove his family up, and he said the cicadas started chirping. He was like, it was just super eerie that anything that happens at night happened, and you were right in the middle of the day. He said it was just a very eerie feeling.
Yeah, because everybody else is being quiet too.
Yeah,
because they're watching it.
Yeah, I think I've asked you guys, would you rather, Night Country, True Detective Season 4 ends, it's the final episode this Sunday night. Would you rather have 24 hours of darkness or light? I'd rather have the darkness.
No, gosh, no.
I'd rather have the light.
24 hours of darkness would be brutal. Much rather
it would darkness? Be brutal. I would rather have the darkness, just the light. How in the hell do you sleep?
Well, how do you stay happy with nothing but darkness?
Blackout curtains?
Yeah, I'd rather
People
fight
put
that.
aluminum foil in their curtains, like in Alaska.
I have gotten really into, now that I'm not on DirecTV, there's some kind of channel where you can pull modern home with snow outside, with the fireplace going, with a little light jazz music.
If it never got dark, LT, can you imagine? You can always... golf courses would have 9 o'clock tee times, 9 p.m. tee times at night. Be fantastic. You play overnight. Guys who work the middle shift could get a nighttime tee time. Get out there at midnight and play golf at midnight if it was 24 hours.
I would love that.
But how easy would it be to sleep in 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning if it was completely dark outside?
Yeah, I wouldn't like complete dark at all. Make it a poll question, Taylor. If you had 24-hour nonstop darkness or sunlight, which one would you want? Can you imagine best time to now either way we'd lose sunsets, which I love sunsets, but the ability to we just got off work waiting tables at 10 o'clock at night. You want to go lay out at the beach at midnight? You could do it at midnight.
Well, that would be a problem. Like the old night swim's fun every now and then, going to the beach. I will never get in the ocean at night. I don't think I've ever been in the ocean at night.
Oh, I have not either.
I don't think I have since Panama City, early 80s. Won't ever do it again.
Yeah, what got you in that ocean?
Undefeated. Yeah. Undefeated. All right.
Man of War?
Battle football.
Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour. Basketball's tomorrow. All sorts of stuff happening. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Enjoy the great food and great times right there on 119 with Sterling and his crew. We're back with Trash as we continue this conversational hour right here on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally?
If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Back with you on the Next Round. Rump Shaker's a big event that's coming to town pretty soon. LT will tell you more about that here in just a second as we continue on. Trash is here in just a second as well. A couple other things that maybe you have not heard that is going on. Baseball cranks back up today. Auburn and Eastern Kentucky. They start the baseball season down at Auburn, number 15, Alabama, number 17. They play Manhattan weekend series there. Auburn beat number 13, Utah in softball yesterday. Tell us about the Rump Shaker, LT.
The Rump Shaker incredible event is coming up March 16th at Regions, March 23rd, Saturday, March 23rd, the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K. For more information, rumpshakerinc.org. But did you know that colon cancer, second leading cause of cancer deaths in America, it affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer, it's preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. For more information, visit them online, rumpshakerinc.org.
And that gets us to Trash Today, brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit the big button, Rockstar.
So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. By the way, Usher up 550% on the streams.
It's a win for him.
Yeah. Lonely cities. Would you guys ever want to live in a lonely city?
I would not, much less in the dark all the time in one. Could you imagine comboing those two?
Atlanta has proudly claimed its spot as the 4th loneliest city in America. This is courtesy of the chamberofcommerce.org. They've crunched the numbers. It turns out that in a nation of 37 million, is that right?
The lone wolves.
Oh, yeah. 37 million lone wolves, single people. Atlanta's standing out. Since 2019, the number of people living solo in this southern hub has skyrocketed by over 12,000 people, or almost 13%. It's like the city embraced loneliness, and they're all about it. Now, among the 236,000 plus households in Atlanta, 47% occupied by a lone ranger. That's right, 110,000, almost 111,000 people living their best hermit lives right now. Not only does Atlanta rank 4th nationally for solo living, it also is the proud owner of the 3rd spot for cities with the most independent women and a respectable 10th place for men flying solo. Now, here are the top 5 loneliest cities. Number 5, Cleveland, Ohio. No desire. Number 4, Atlanta. Number 3, St. Louis. Number 2, Birmingham, Alabama.
Whoa.
And number 1 is Washington, D.C.
Why'd you pick Vulcan's butt, Rockstar?
Does that not speak Birmingham to you?
He's very lonely. I've never lived by myself. That's something I've never done.
I have never lived by myself.
Oh, it's great.
I have several times. Love it.
It's great.
Yep.
Never once. Couldn't tell you if I like it or not. I don't think I would.
I don't think I have. No.
Yeah. I've never lived by myself.
A man in Southwest Florida has been charged with flooding a hospital's emergency rooms after attacking a nurse and stripping off his clothes, according to authorities. 53-year-old became agitated while in a waiting room at the North Collier Hospital in Naples, Florida on Saturday. Now, he banged into the emergency room, pushed a patient, and then pushed a nurse in the head. Whoa. After the hospital staff got him into a room in an effort to keep him from disturbing other patients, he took off his clothes, pulled a high-pressure water pipe from the wall. Hospital's emergency rooms flooded, causing tens of thousands of dollars. Responding deputies subdued the man with a taser after he threatened them. He was taken into custody, facing a single charge of aggravated battery and 4 charges of criminal mischief.
Which reminds me, what do you do when you get agitated at a waiting room?
Well, I go straight for the high-pressure water pipe because
you
I'm
take
going to
your clothes off first.
Yeah, clothes off first, and then I'm going to flood the room. That's steps 1 and 2, I think, always.
I've never seen Outer Banks. Kids watch it, but one of the main guys from Outer Banks did this exact same thing in Las Vegas this week. I guess he was there for the Super Bowl, but it got so bad that, and I saw this somewhere yesterday, maybe it was on Twitter, I don't know, but one of the nurses had a tray, an iron tray, or a aluminum tray, steel tray, whatever, and had to beat him in the head with it to like calm him down.
Jeez.
What are you doing? Calming him down?
I'm beating him in the head. Calm him down. Get off my back.
Rocky, I assume you got a picture of this next one. If you're looking for a new home, an incredible villa in Florida just hit the market. Now, albeit it's got a equally incredible price tag. The Gordon Point townhome, or townhouse, which entered the market this week, is listed for a whopping $295 million.
It's the most expensive property in the world.
That is
the most expensive listed house.
Listed on the market.
Told me this was a yacht club, exclusive yacht club, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. That does not look like a residence.
Not a big fan of the architecture.
It is the most expensive property in the U.S., according to CNBC and the Wall Street Journal. The property is listed as a private oasis located in the exclusive neighborhood of Port Royal in Naples, Florida.
They went all out for their kids' playground, though.
They did.
Well, look at that.
Now, the lot is located right here in 9 acres at the end of the peninsula. It makes up the neighborhood. Beachfront property, as you see there. 728 feet of beach frontage with 927 feet of bay frontage, situated right there on the Gulf of Mexico. That is an awesome layout, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot. I'll give him that.
Now,
by the way, you get to rebuild it every 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, probably. Listing is approximately 22,800 square feet. Main home is 11,500 square feet, while each guest house, so there's multiple guest house, they're around 5,000 feet each.
My gosh.
Yeah. Square foot, they estimate the cost is right at $13,000 a square foot.
What do you think the monthly mortgage is on that one?
Like $150.
You think they're paying points on PMI?
Yeah.
This is strange. Diaper-wearing adults looking for a safe space to role play as babies can now head to the new diaper spa in Atchison, New Hampshire. This caters to the needs of all diaper lovers. Set up by physician Dr. Colleen Murphy, the Diaper Spa seeks to serve all diaper-wearing individuals above the age of 21 looking for acceptance and care, or simply for a safe space to engage in, quote, richly immersive experiences that involve adult diapers. Now, activities listed on the venue's website include playtime, story time, nap time, cuddle time, changing time, coloring, nursery rhymes, and sing-alongs.
Coloring.
Prices start at $100 an hour, go all the way up to $1,500 for a 24-hour stay at their bed and breakfast. Dr. Murphy went on to say, quote, a lot of times it's childhood trauma when they were in diapers or just getting out of diapers. They want to feel the safety that they had before. It helps them process whatever the trauma was.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it looks nothing like this photo. Like they don't have the passy and everything.
There's cuddle time and story time. So
I like coloring time.
And they also, you have to be changed. Like that, you live.
Hey.
You don't. This isn't just a gimmick.
I lay on a changing table. They changed me.
Disturbing visual there. But if you give me Nicole Eggert and Blown Away with the same teddy bear pose, see if you can find that one, Rocky.
With the pacifier?
I don't think she's got a pacifier.
No, she has no pacifier.
But she does, and she's not wearing a diaper. She's wearing the teddy bear. I don't know if you can find that.
I do
Blown
remember
Away.
it. I do remember
Nicole Eggert at her best. This is pre-breast augmentation, pre-Baywatch. This was straight out of Charles in Charge.
Yeah. She was a top 10.
Oh, I agree. So this is really stupid, but Amanda Alberg told reporters that her daughter, Marianne, is a varsity cheerleader at the Penconning High School, where athletes are instructed to wear uniforms on game day regardless of their sport. But even though Marianne's cheerleading coach told her and the rest of the team to wear their uniforms to school, she was told she had to wear pants underneath. Okay, I'm going to pause this.
Yeah, because we got Nicole Eggert. Oh, you've played the trailer now, Rockstar. It's going to mess the whole thing up.
That wasn't even a still
There
shot.
you go. There you go. Right there. Just keep it there.
So that's kind of similar without the passy, right? And the diaper?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, she's got the teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not a teddy bear.
It's a duck, man. Yeah, I always remember it as a teddy bear, too.
Duck.
Yeah.
The old stuffed duck.
Yeah.
Got no blinds on the windows.
Stuffed duck will get you
no
every
curtains.
time. Yep.
Okay, so back to this. They told her she had to wear pants under her cheerleading outfit. Quota called the school office. I was told they are to wear pants under their uniforms at all times. They said not wearing pants is a distraction to the boys. So you get to wear this while you're performing and cheering, but at school you have to wear pants under.
But it's also a rule. You have to wear the uniform at school on game day. But this isn't like I'm just doing, remember they have to wear it in class, and they're saying, well, yours is a distraction, so put some pants on.
Okay, I don't understand how
wear
it's
this.
yeah, but how it's appropriate for games, but it's inappropriate for school.
It's an excellent question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
It's really stupid.
It is stupid.
Yep.
I would agree completely. But I also understand that if the cheerleaders wear that to school every day, some girl is going to come in the next day in a skirt that doesn't cover anything, and then she's going to say, well, if the cheerleader's going to do it, I get to do it.
Okay, but the problem is, if this starts here, it's going to balloon all over. So within a year, we're not going to have any cheerleaders at school.
Yep, yeah, that could be the case, yes.
Or not wearing them to class.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The mandatory wear it on game day. That's probably where you just need to stop.
I get that, but I don't understand the difference. Like, you're going to be wearing it that night to a school function.
That's right. You're still at school at the game.
Smuff's exactly what I was thinking. They didn't make the volleyball team wear their uniforms to class, surely, because
sometimes the volleyball uniforms are a lot better than those cheerleading. It's like those are revealing as hell.
Oh, like, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, that's even more than the cheerleaders. What about the track jump, the high jumpers and such?
Beach volleyball.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right LT.
Did the new year add to your financial uncertainty? Let the experts at Mortgage Right help get your financial house in order. Their team of experts can make sure you're prepared for anything the year 2024 may bring, including freeing up cash for the things you need to get done. Take control today. Visit Mortgage Right at their location right there, Highway 280. You can apply, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender.
Andy Kennedy joins the conversation when we come back on the show that's being brought to you in part by our friends at Redmond Vodka as well. Redmond Vodka, perfect for the weekend. Drink responsibly. Charles Barkley has that thing cooking right now.
Yeah, pick up a bottle. It's available in 22 states right now. Delicious product, locally owned and operated, as Dunaway said. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled. Available at your local package and ABC store, including the Beverage Place and Pink package. Ask for it by name. It is Redmond Vodka.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459 exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got two great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
All right, Andy Kennedy, UAB basketball, brought to you by our friends at Legacy. Another, I know we say this a lot, but this is the best part about being in the new conference. So many big, good home games, and we got another one coming up this weekend. Brownie, getting ready for a big one.
We do, and the coach is with us now. Andy Kennedy, presented by Legacy Credit Union. What is up, Coach? How are you today?
Hey, guys. Good. Y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. I do want to start with the fact that, as Jim mentioned, a game coming up this weekend, and UAB is going to honor the Sweet 16 team. It is hard to believe. Did I read this right? That has been 20 years now? 20 years?
Time flies, doesn't it? 2004, Mike Anderson, an incredible group of guys who kind of came together. What's ironic is I was at Cincinnati at the time. I was with Murray Bartow as an assistant from 96 to 01, and then I went to Cincinnati in 01. But one of the kids, there's actually two of the kids that are still involved in the program. One's on my staff, and Sidney Ball, who we had recruited when I was working for Murray, and Sidney had developed into I think he was a redshirt senior on that year. We recruited him as a wing and ended up being a stretch four in that system that Mike played. And then Mo Finley, who may have hit the biggest shot in the history of UAB basketball, hits the shot to beat Kentucky to get to the Sweet 16 and knocking off the number 1 seed. And we had signed Mo also during our time here when I was with Murray, and now Mo's doing our color on some of our TV stuff. So great opportunity for us to honor that team.
Hey, before we get into what's going on with the Blazers, I do want to ask you this because I don't want our listeners and viewers to forget how good of a player you were at one time, former McDonald's All-American. But there's some I mean, you got Jerry Stackhouse and Juwan Howard and Penny Hardaway. You got some outstanding former players that are coaching now at your level. If I asked you, you had to get three guys on one team that are current active coaches to do the best, hoop it up, and to win a championship, who are the three coaches? Would you be on that team?
Yeah, I would not. You talking about in their prime?
No, I'm just talking about right now.
Oh,
yeah, I'm talking about
I'll tell you this: if I could get open, I could still make it. But it'd take a hell of a coach to get me open. I'm not making a lot of real tight cuts and curls these days, my man. It takes me about 3 minutes to get up. Today it looks like Stackhouse could still go.
Yeah, he does.
I bet he could still go. Now, he a lot of his game was based on athleticism, so maybe that's dropped a little bit, but he looks like he could still go. Juwan Howard, I think, just had a heart attack, so I'm not sure I'd throw it to him in the post very much. Steve Alford, still coaching many, many years later, one of the best shooters in the history of the game. So I'm not sure who would be up to speed in current time.
Who would you have taken back in the day, Mark Price or Steve Alford, in a horse competition?
That's a great question. I visited Georgia Tech. I got stories on stories. I visited Georgia Tech out of high school, and when Mark Price was a senior on that team, Bobby Crimmins was the head coach. It was quite a weekend. Mark Price could really, really shoot it. Alford could shoot it. I think Alford's probably a little bit better shooter. Now, Mark Price ended up being an NBA All-Star, so overall he was the better player.
Yeah, are you surprised, and this is my last one, and I'll leave you alone, but like where Georgia Tech is right now as a program, I mean, that was with Bobby Crimmins, they were incredible. And then I know Paul Hewitt got them, and they played for a national championship against Okafor and that UConn team. But where Georgia Tech is now as a basketball program, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, great. Yeah, they've got great lineage, great history, but it's all about players, bro. I mean, let's keep it real, man. Kenny Anderson, Stephon Marbury, Mark Price. You get really good players, you're going to have a really good team. And now in this new world of transfer portal and NIL, my assumption would be that Georgia Tech, the academic standards are probably not real transfer friendly. That's my assumption. And as a result, in the day and age in which we live, it's a little taller task than it once was.
I like to think that Gene Bartow is in heaven listening to us right now and is saying heart attack or no heart attack. I would have never see Andy Kennedy pass it inside to Juwan Howard anyway. You would have shot the damn thing.
I used to tell our guys they'd bitch at me about taking shots, and I'd say, man, I'm only making about 50%, which means I'm going to miss one of every two. Go get it off the glass.
Go get it off the glass. This Ohio State job, before we talk about UAB playing on Sunday, another good Sunday game.
They have not offered of it just yet. No. I'm still – I've got my phone here handy.
Yeah.
I've got my phone handy, but they have not offered me that yet.
But when I think basketball, and I'm probably wrong about this because everyone's telling me they've got this great tradition, but in my professional lifetime, when I think basketball in the state of Ohio, I go Cincinnati Xavier. I never really think about Ohio State basketball. It's sort of blah to me. I know they had some moments. What was it? The Odin kid and some of those.
Thad Matta, Mike Conley. Thad Matta did an incredible job there.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I mean, overall, you always think football. I may get in trouble saying this, but I'll say it anyway. I think there's 3 jobs in the country. You guys tell me y'all's expert opinion. 3 jobs in the country that should be top 10 in every sport every year, and Ohio State is one of those. Who do you think the other 2 are?
Texas, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
So you're just talking football, basketball combo?
No, I'm talking about football,
sports.
Basketball, baseball, women's soccer, cross country.
I'll go
golf.
Florida.
Thank you.
I was going to go Florida.
Those 3 schools just be based on the resources, and there should be no excuses. Ohio State, Texas, and Florida should be top 10 in everything every year, in my opinion.
Is Florida's money as good as Ohio State and Texas's money as far as boosters and the ability to build facilities and everything? I've always felt like, I understand what you're talking about, recruiting around in all sports in that region, but to me, Ohio State and Texas just brings a bankroll to the battle that nobody else can bring, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I would say those 2 are probably a little bit higher in the pecking order from a finance standpoint, but the brand of the Gators is, to me, it's a worldwide brand.
Hey, about your team,
can I ask a question on that though, real quick?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Because I was at an event with John Calipari. He came into town to speak, and he wanted to be interviewed, so they got me to come interview him.
And we were eating dinner before lunch, whatever it was, and this was right after who got fired at UCLA? Murray took the job as the interim. Why can I not say
Steve Alford?
Yeah, Alford. That's right. And somebody asked him, "It's like, why can UCLA not get back there?" And Cal gave the most fascinating answer, Coach. He said, "Because their coach has to fly commercial to recruit." I was like, what?
Yeah, it's a little different. Sometimes, and Cal fought this a little bit at Kentucky. But sometimes when you've had so much success, when you're a brand like a Kentucky basketball or UCLA basketball, and they've done it a certain way, and times have changed, some people still look at it and say, "Oh, this was good enough for John Wooden. It should be good enough for you." Times have changed, man. You gotta evolve or die, right?
Yeah, but his point was like he ran through the schedule. He goes, "Okay, I've got to be at the Peach Classic or whatever it is in Georgia, and then next is this one and this one and this one. You can't do it flying commercial." He goes, "The coaches that can get to all of those fly private." And I had never. I mean, that's something we as fans, we don't have the first clue about something like that.
No, that's my point. They've always kind of done it a certain way, and they have evolved into this new era. You'd be shocked. I mean, when I look back at some jobs that I've been involved in and where they are now, it's just like night to day.
Our conversations with Andy Kennedy are brought to you by our friends at Legacy, and one reason we have Andy on is to make sure we're promoting such a great product in UAB basketball. 2:00 on Sunday with North Texas coming to town. You do such a good job in recruiting, and occasionally you get a local guy. Will Shaver is a guy that's at UAB now, and he showed up in the box score for me for really the first time I've noticed in a while. Do you like now that he's starting to slowly improve and maybe reach his potential? Is he one guy that, next year or even further down the road that he can start maybe being the guy we saw here locally at Oak Mountain?
Yeah, I think Will's got a tremendous future in front of him. Think about this. So he reclassed up. He signs. This was this is during COVID recruiting where you can't get out. Everything's done via Zoom, and you guys still hadn't let that go, I see. But where everything's Zoom and you can't, nothing personal. He commits to Carolina. He reclasses. So he wins the state championship in Bartow Arena, ironically enough, reclassed and went up and redshirted at North Carolina on the team that went into the Final Four. Then he becomes eligible the following year, breaks his foot, doesn't get to play, comes to us. This summer had a knee situation that had to be resolved, so he wasn't able to participate with us throughout the course of the summer. So it's just been one thing after another, and I think finally he's getting healthy, and he's kind of finding his rhythm a little bit. And he's a guy that has given us valuable minutes in the last couple of games, and we're counting on him helping us finish this thing right.
You are so much better on Zoom. It's because you're on video. You're better there, Andy. That's why we continue to do it. 2:00, as Dunaway said, on Sunday. They're honoring the Sweet 16 team from 20 years ago. Last week, though, was a classic letdown spot. You've got that emotional win over FAU. You're on the road at Tulsa. What did it say about your staff and your team that the letdown did not happen?
Well, I think the first thing that we probably had our best week on the defensive side of the ball all season. Defense has been our biggest issue, our inability to get stops, our inability to clean up our defensive glass, fouling too much, and not being able to be disciplined throughout a possession. Those have been the issues that have put us with 8 losses to this point, and we've gotten better in those areas. And that's a credit to our guys continuing to work and put in the time and the energy that is necessary in order to be a good defensive team. We were really good defensively against one of the best offensive teams in the country in FAU, and then we were really good against Tulsa. And Tulsa came in as the number 1 rated pace of play team in conference play. They've got a transfer from TCU, kid named PJ Haggerty, who runs the point for him, who was leading in conference games. He was leading the American Conference in scoring. So we went in and did a really good job defensively because it was probably one of our worst offensive performances of the year. And to be able to win on the road with the way we shot the ball, again, it just shows that our defense is getting better, and that's a positive sign.
All right, North Texas, 2:00 Sunday, UABsports.com to get tickets, 975 UAB1 to get tickets as well. Go support these Blazers and go honor one of the great Blazer teams of all time, one of my favorite people in the world, Mo Finley. He is a great dude, and that whole team will be there. AK, good to see you again. We'll see you next week.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. On the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline is where you found Coach, and he's presented each week by Legacy.
Yeah, don't forget Swap and Drop is going on now. You can swap a car or truck loan, even an ATV, a boat, or anything else over to Legacy from wherever your provider is. Go to swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com. Check out that Engage checking as well.
Let's see, non-sports. William Post, rock star. Do you know what William Post did? He died this week at the age of 96.
Oh, it was a Post cereal. Stole the, was not he infiltrated Kellogg's after the place burned down. Took their ideas. Are you talking about?
Created grape nuts?
Yep. Also was one of the creators of the Pop-Tarts.
So have you seen that the movie's coming out?
The William Post movie?
No. It's about the creation. I told Lance about this. He's like, there's no way they could do a movie on this. So Seinfeld is...
Jim Gaffigan.
Seinfeld, Jim Gaffigan. Melissa McCarthy. There was one more person. It's a big name. It's some big names that are in there. And I think Seinfeld has written and directed this, if I'm not mistaken, Rockstar.
It will be a PG-13 then.
Yep. What's the deal with the frosting?
But that is coming out pretty soon, I think, on Netflix.
What is the movie about?
Frosted. It's about there was apparently some controversy in the creation of the Pop-Tart between Post and Kellogg's, maybe. And this is about the creation of the Pop-Tart. I'm kind of with Lance. I don't know that they're going to how they're going to do a movie on it. But
Didn't you say it's titled right now Unfrosted?
Either frosted or unfrosted, one of the two.
Because I'll never forget an ex-girlfriend. The most hell she ever got from my kids is she purchased non-frosted Pop-Tarts, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you want a non-frosted Pop-Tart?
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, man.
I guess if you wanted to put cheese on it, but you put cheese on the frosted ones? Yeah.
I mean, would you guys ever buy unfrosted?
I would not.
There have been times, I don't even know if it was frosted the first time I had a Pop-Tart, if they even had frosted. The first time I had one.
Frosted is definitely...
Yeah, I need to go back to Pop-Tarts. I used to eat them all the time.
Calorie count.
Oh, I like them.
Hate the Pop-Tart.
That calorie count, when you start looking at that, you're like, holy crap.
Everything.
Hate the Pop-Tart.
So not to that level.
All right, we're doing another Mystery Fifth Hour for you today. That'll be coming out on all of our platforms, and a lot of other exciting stuff going on up here. Rockstar No Music this weekend. Forrester's back on the softball junket, a doubleheader today for him. Lunsford and Melton have something cooking we're going to tell you about here pretty soon, unveil some of that. You guys have big plans this weekend?
I am actually, I'm on the road going to see the daughter.
All right, good. Heading down to Mobile for him. And what about you?
I have got nothing.
One of those weekends you like, right?
Dry weekend, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, we hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back with you Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, maybe some YouTube. Taylor will be at the Auburn game coming up this weekend. I'll be over in Tuscaloosa for Bama and Texas A&M. Follow us for all that. And remember to like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. We're back with you Monday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.